Check, check. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the concrete jungle. My home airport, Dallas-Fort Worth, ready to rock and roll. A severely neglected airport since forever. And there's probably good reason for that because there's really not a whole lot around terrain feature-wise in the Metroplex area. However, DFW Airport is a massive 29 square miles property, and it's my home airport. So we're going to take a good look at it today. This one is from iniBuilds. Finally have a good third-party airport. There was a couple other ones that came out a couple months ago that just, well, we had the default update and there was like another dev that released one, but I've been really waiting for a good DFW. We have one just in time as I finish up training, and now I am actually a real 737 pilot. Who would have thought we would have had V1 as a 737 pilot before Grand Theft Auto, right? My goodness. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even play that. But thank you for tuning in on this one. A little bit of a last-minute stream. My voice is a little bit rough. You probably can tell. I was going to fly with you guys on Friday, but man, I had on my 737 MAX return to service training, the captain fill-in was just sick. Sick as a dog, and sure enough, Saturday morning I woke up with some sniffles, and then, you know, but it wasn't too bad, just a little bit of a cold. So I feel good. We're ready to rock and roll. We are going to do one leg today. We're going to go over to Albuquerque, just because I want to just kind of relax on this flight. I was going to do the Austin turn. We're going to save that. We're going to do the Austin turn in the Mad Dog MD-80. I do have it working. The 2024 anniversary edition, we'll probably do that tomorrow, or sometime this week. I do have a trip this week, Wednesday, Thursday rather. So we might have to do that first leg in the sim as well. But anyway, today is about DFW. It's about relaxing, sitting back, relaxing, enjoying the flight, taking a good look at DFW. I'll take you around the airport here. We'll take a good look at it. I know the ins and outs of this airport pretty good. I've been here a very long time, and it's fun. It's exciting to finally have DFW in the sim. So thank you, Captain McGee. Appreciate the 29-month support, dude. Very kind of you. Digital Merc, thank you, my man. Whoa. What is that? That's going to be someone starting up over there. Digital Merc, 51 months of support, dude. Thank you so much, man, for the support as well. Really do appreciate that for the support, man. But yeah, it's training is finally wrapped up, guys. We are finally released to the line, technically, which is kind of scary to think about it. No, not really. I'm excited. I can't wait for my first trip. It's going to be a fun one, doing some Mexico. Go figure, right? For the last, I don't know, 3 years, all I did in the bus was Cancun turns out of DFW, and I get to do a turn down to Cozumel, so it should be best for it to be my first flight. So it should be pretty cool. At least it's an area that I'm familiar with. So we're going to take a look at that. I want to do that flight. I think it'd be fun to do that flight, but I want to do it after I do it real world. That way I can kind of recreate exactly what happens. So maybe look for that one maybe on Friday or something. So East Coast Inc., my man, thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well. Appreciate the support. Very kind, man. I know it's been a while, so it's thank you so much, man, for getting the chat green. Appreciate all the support, East Coast Inc. Very kind. Sam's in the house. How's the studying going, buddy? He says your first trip looks like my old trips, turns in and out of the hub. I know, Sam, dude. So penalty lap is going strong over here. Like, penalty laps are a big thing. Firefly, what's up, man? Good to see you. Guess who's back? Back again. What's up, Firefly? 38 months of support. Thank you as well. Appreciate you, my man. Vodka's in the house. Good to see you, dude. Callie Simmer. Callie. What's going on? How you doing, Callie Simmer? Let's see if I can show you here. I am on the, well, it's not wrong camera, but I am on the 737 coffee diet now. We're just doing Pike's Place, or Pike's Roast, black, no cream, the 737 diet. We got to get locked in, chat, because the 737 is a whole lot smaller than the A320. So, Vodka says, but hope you're having a wonderful morning out there on the West Coast. Can it do the ETP thing when you move it based on airports over the water? Vodka, I don't believe it can. The 737 does not, I don't believe it has the ETP. Not like the function that you're talking of. I know exactly what you're talking about, and to my knowledge, you can't do that. So there's some other things around it you can do with fixed rings and things of that nature, which we will probably do. I'll probably show you guys that on Friday. But yeah, being able to modify the ETP between whatever fields you want to, it's great, man. Yeah, that's something I will miss on the bus for sure. Gus is in the house. What's up, man? Official in the Pro BC. Congrats. Now you'll understand why every Boeing driver looks 30 years older than their ID. I tell you what, Gus, I don't think you're lying to me there. That's for sure, man. I did my observation ride. When did I do it? Thursday? Yeah, everything, all the days are blending together, guys. I did my observation ride on Thursday, flew down to Austin and back in the 7.3, and it was, I mean, Boeing drivers, man, they're just a different breed, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far. I sat in that jump seat. I hadn't been in an actual airplane since, was it October of 2025? Because I had my last trip, and then I had another trip after that, but that canceled. Remember, they removed me, and then I was in training. So to be back in the saddle, back in the cockpit again, it was kind of, I've got that itch. I need to get back out there. I need to go push the throttles up, and I can't wait to go flying. So, but yeah, it's been a long time, and my first flight back, in the 7.3 cockpit, and I was happy with myself because I didn't walk in and immediately think I went back in time. It actually felt familiar, and I think that just has to do part with the training. Just been in and out of the sim all the time. I will say, and then we're going to get going here. We'll talk about this all up in cruise, but man, the training that I got over the last couple of months was just phenomenal. This was the easiest type ride I've ever done. Easiest transition. Wasn't nearly as challenging as I thought. I think the majority of that comes to just the instructors were top-notch. The way the program was laid out was just really good. Went really smooth. Got to fly through the ice storm, driving to and from the sims on an ice rink down there in Dallas when that happened. That was pretty wild. But, yeah, we'll talk all about the training. That's why we picked this route. We'll go back to training stories in cruise. So if you want training stories, we'll do training stories in cruise. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at this airport, and then we're going to get off the gate because I do want to show you guys some cool stuff. Now, first and foremost, let me see if I can catch this Skylink here. The Skylink is fully simulated, and it's pretty detailed, and the amount of times I've spent riding around the airport killing sit time or airport appreciation time. I wish there was a camera view where you could sit in the Skylink. It's pretty cool. So the Skylink does run around. It will make you absolutely hate the Atlanta plane train, because the Atlanta plane train is miserable underground and you don't see anything. But the Skylink is fully modeled. It's pretty cool. The airport, they've got some construction stuff going on here, which is pretty good. The construction, I mean, it's got to be pretty challenging to model construction as a sim developer, because construction in real time is happening so fast. All chat, can we get a moment of silence for Spiritual Wings? Spiritual Wings taxiing out. Absolutely love it. But this terminal here, this is Terminal C, I believe. I chose C36 because we're going to taxi. We're going to take the full taxi over to 18 left for our departure day. But the construction, like real world now, this is actually built out pretty good so far. But this is what it did look like for a certain period of time. Now, there still is construction. They're still actively working on it. But the construction is very rapid. There's the Hyatt Place. Let's go over to Terminal D, which is one of the best terminals. Well, no, it's the best terminal in DFW, and iniBuilds did a great job of modeling this. They actually have the high Ds as well, or the low Ds. So D1, if you ever park over on this gate, it's, 2.5 miles to customs. So good luck if you come in from Mexico. This is the international arrivals, and they part out these gates too. So you'll have, this is where you'll see there's an is it Air Tahiti I saw that flies a 350 in here now? No, it wasn't Air Tahiti, it was somebody else. Finnair comes in here, Qatari, Emirates, all the international wide bodies. This is the international arrivals over here, and this is where you'll get the third-party aircraft. So if Aeromexico comes in here, Fiji, that's the one. Thank you, Turks. Fiji. Air France also comes in here, but this is a great rendition of what that actually looks like. Now over here, again, this is just construction, real world versus sim development. There's actually a building here now, which is not complete, but there is a standing building there. That's going to be another extension of DFW Airport out there. So it's going up pretty quick, and these are the old hard stands out here. So you'll see aircraft like Contour, Spirit, Frontier. Sometimes they park out here on the hard stand. But let's go into Terminal D, and we're going to take a look around, because the Terminal D interior. Now, listen, I know some people like interiors, some people don't like interiors, some people like passenger cabins, some people don't like passenger cabins. Whatever your preference is, I'm just going to kind of review this on just reality and realism. And iniBuilds did a fantastic job with the inside of Terminal D. So Terminal D is the only interior airport or interior part of the terminal that is modeled. Look at that Skylink running around out there. That's so good. What's the best food at DFW? We'll take a look, Wooby. There's a couple different options. So let's go ahead and move through the Terminal D here. Let's see what they got on the boards. Anything good? Where are we going? We have Albuquerque. I got like this weird thing going on with my binding is giving me issues. Hold on one sec. Flying to Taipei on EVA in a few months. DFW? Wow, dude. 16 hours? That's pretty wild, man. Taipei on EVA Air. 16 hours at a DFW. Jeez. Sam says it's so nice inside the D terminal. Yeah, D is the one that... where you want to go. Now there is the the A terminal is completely remodeled now, real world, and it's actually really nice as well. But Terminal D is pretty good. So let's see. We don't have New York City, San Antonio. We should have done San Antonio today or Austin. I don't see an Albuquerque on there. I was just taking a look. Canceled. American Airlines is canceled. Liverpool, iniBuilds, Hong Kong. Wait a second. Surely, are these airports that iniBuilds are making? Yeah, it is. Dubai, right? They made Dubai. What's wrong? I wonder if iniBuilds is working on a Hong Kong. That would be something. Could you imagine an iniBuilds Hong Kong? I just saw that. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll move through Terminal D here. We're going to take a look at... this is up to the Skylink. This is cool. Back in the day when I used to make shorts videos, you guys probably remember those escalators. We're going to come up and across. This is the Skylink station. This is exactly what it looks like. The floors look exactly like this. They nailed the floor color. They definitely nailed the floor color with the dots and with that little fleck. We'll come down here. All right, Terminal D. I wish I could walk my avatar around in here. So this is kind of the other side. But here we've got some good food options. You got the Flying Saucer bar up top. You got a Subway. You got a Chick-fil-A, which I have been here many a time. It must be a Sunday because it's closed. So is it Sunday? No, it's Monday. Oh, speaking of Sunday, Monday, how about that Super Bowl total last night? Flying Saucer bar. Come up here, hang out, have a couple drinks. Definitely not as a crew member, though. Now, there's a Whataburger down here. What's this? They have the the Coca-Cola Experience is over here. They have this thing. I still don't know what this is. This is here in the real airport. I don't know what it is. iniBuilds modeled it, but you can walk through it. And I don't know if it's supposed to be part of the world or like kind of looks like an engine. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Super Bowl was perfect. Love from Seattle. Oh, yeah. Well, I am happy that Seattle won. I was pulling for Sam Darnold, man. I was pulling for Sam Darnold. The World Cup is coming to North Texas. Really? Huh. That's what I know. $1 million question. Which halftime show did you watch? Oh, boy, Fireflyer. Oh, brother. You're already starting out swinging. There's a Starbucks over here. Got many a Starbucks from this Starbucks right here. So this is all very accurate. Pinkberry. Very cool. But just overall, if you make cinematics or you make videos, you're going to like DFW. I mean, look at all the jets. I mean, that's so cool. Welcome to Dallas-Fort Worth. Really, really good job here in the Terminal D from iniBuilds, man. 360 up here. That's accurate. I actually haven't been over here in a really long time. Let's take a look. They got the Cowboy shop around here? I thought there was a Cowboy shop around here at one point. Is there a 7-Eleven at Terminal D? There is. And matter of fact, Sam, I'll show you my my route. So actually, what door is this? I can show you where I used to always park for my Cancun turns. Yeah, this is exactly it. So what I would do is I would park over here at Princess Park, and then I walk in right here, and I wonder if I can find the little secret elevator. Well, hold on. So you come into the terminal. Well, that's upstairs. Let me come into the terminal. I don't know if they have this. No, they don't have this part modeled. Okay. So, but what happens is you walk in, you come up a little, like there's a secret passageway, and then you go right into the security. This would be, I think this is a security right here. This is where security would be. And then I'd walk in, and I go this way. And before going to that, actually, I would come over here. I might be turned around. There should be a 7-Eleven around here, Sam. I might be turned around. Where's the 7-Eleven? Unless, you know what? It might be new. They may not have it in it when they modeled this one. I used to get my Topo Chico, then go up the stairs to get on the Skylink, because I'd always park my truck over at Terminal D, because when you came in from a Cancun turn, you went through customs. Yeah. So right now, this must have been before they put it. So right now, there's a 7-Eleven right here. So I'd come through security, get my Topo Chico, go up the escalator, and then go to my gate, wherever that may be. Now, this is the really cool... let's see if we can wait for a Skylink to come in here. If you're bored in DFW, just get on the Skylink and run at 360. So the Skylink will go to any gate that you want to. It's just going to be a matter of how fast you want to get there. So you can't get on the wrong train unless you're on a time crunch. Then you can absolutely get on the wrong train. But it is a 360-degree loop. It'll take you to every stop. But this is basically, we'll do our own little pseudo Skylink here tour. So you get on the Skylink, and this is really cool. This is where normally you see all those heavy jets that I was talking about. You see the 380s, 350s, all that good stuff. And you ride this all the way around. I'm going to have to turn up the drone cam because we got a long way to go here. So you ride this. This is D1, right? Never park at D1. If you get off at D1 or D2, good luck. Come all the way around this Skylink. I believe, yeah, this is all parking going to be down here. Parking. This is cool. They got the bridges. They nailed the bridges. We're going to take a look at that when we taxi over the bridge, going over some weird little artifact right here going on, but I think that's just part of the elevation issue. I did just update the scenery today. I think there was an update that came out. It said it increased a couple of markings and elevation fixes somewhat, but this is the latest and greatest version, by the way, if you are curious. Oh, yeah, be quiet about the elevator. I know. Come around here. The old spiritual wings. Look at that. We got 2 spiritual wings birds. Oh, man. Man. Makes me sad. Look at those 2 beauties right there. Terminal E. You have all the RJs over here. This is all American Eagle. So you'd have SkyWest, RJs, all those guys over there. They'd be over there. Then there's the satellite terminal, which... I don't believe it's modeled right yet. No, so I'm on all more satellites. We'll continue our plane train. Come over here. Here's all the Delta 220s and 320s. Then you got the United gates. Yeah, this is pretty good. Take this one, and we're getting off at this stop right here. So this is us. Welcome to C37. We're going to taxi all the way over to 18 left for departure. So a little bit of a scenery tour there. We're going to take a look at the texturing. The one thing I'll say is that the colors of the taxiways are good, because DFW has this weird like light gray / pinkish brownish color. I think, you know, you could get when you look at it in midday, and we'll take a look when we taxi out, a little bit more grime on certain taxiways. That'd be really my only thing, because when you have so much concrete, it begins to look too uniform. I think that's got to be a challenge for making an airport as big as DFW, because there's just so much concrete. How are you going to texture the entire thing? And it's just adding little variations over time, you know. But, I mean, this is pretty good here. And the actual, I did look at 17 left is the dirtiest runway. And they actually have this correct. And, you know, I'm sure they took some scans on this when they took pictures. But if you look at the 17 left touchdown zone, see how dark that is? That's accurate. And when you come over here, they're not as dark. You know, it looks like they've kind of changed a little bit. But this one's not as dark. This one, 17 right, that's the one that just got redone, right? But I would say 17 left is one of the most neglected runways. I think these black streaks probably go a little bit longer. But overall, really good job. And here's what's cool. So these details, like, look, I noticed this coming over here. We'll see this when we taxi over. You see the discoloration, or the color change between, I guess, the types of concrete. This is accurate. This is actually what it looks like. This isn't random shapes in the pavement. This is actually what the airport looks like. And I don't know if it's because they patch certain areas with different different types of materials or whatever it may be. But they're not just random shapes, not just random blocks on the taxiways. That's actually how it looks. So a pretty good thing. Oh, one last thing I want to show you, one last thing I want to hit on before we get started. Two are very important. Number one, there are no pine trees at DFW. Drove me nuts. I loaded in. I'm like, why do I have pine trees around DFW? Came over here to my observation center. This is where Miss V1 would pick me up at midnight and wait for me to come in when I was flying freight. This is the freight ramp over here. Quick little tour of the freight ramp. UPS freight ramp. Used to fly over here. Used to park my 99, Beach 99 over here on this ramp, actually. And then she'd see me taxi in, and when she saw me taxiing in, she'd get in the car and go pick me up. This is the observation center here in DFW. And when I came over here, when I was first looking at the scenery, there's big pine trees here. And I'm like, what are these pine trees? And then I got thinking, you know what is there a tree diversity mod or something? And sure enough, somebody told me about the Bijan tree mod, Bijan, Founders Plaza. Thank you, man. I couldn't think of the name, Founders Plaza. So I installed because I remember I used to have Bijan seasons in 2020. I installed the Bijan trees for 2024. It got rid of all the pine trees, and it looks a million times better than with all the pine trees. Because if you don't have the tree mod, and depending on your LOD, you're going to have pine trees over here at Founders Plaza. And there's I promise you, there's no pine trees at Founders Plaza. But yeah, this is really cool. They got a little statue thing here too. DFW, welcome a hero. Yeah, absolutely love it. They got the water cannon salute. Founders Plaza, Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, just nice little attention to detail. There's a guy on YouTube, DFW Live, and he spots from right here as well at Founders Plaza. So overall, I think iniBuild did a great job. I mean, this is an undertaking to do an airport of this size, and to not have it look all bland. That had to be quite the challenge. And I do like the changelog. Like, you could tell that, just adding little details. I hope that continues, with people find little issues here and there, maybe they can continue to refine it. But I'm just ecstatic that we have a high-quality DFW, because we can go to all kinds of places from DFW. You can go all over Mexico, a couple hours away. You don't have to pick a West Coast or an East Coast flight. You can go now middle of the country, go up to Chicago, go north, Minneapolis, all that good stuff. So overall, nice job by iniBuilds, and they got the details. I mean, they definitely paid attention to the details of the little things like this, Founders Plaza and the terminal. I like the fact that they only did Terminal D. I'll be honest with you. My personal preference with inside of terminals, I could take it or leave it as long as I have good performance with the scenery. I could take or leave the interior of the terminals. So I think it's a good balance. You do the main terminal, Terminal D, looks awesome. Performance is good, no issues. That's the last thing I was going to hit on before we start our actual flight, is performance is good. It's really good. It's probably similar to their Kennedy for me, which in my opinion is becoming one of my favorite airports, is the iniBuilds Kennedy, because the performance is just so good, and it's weird. LAX to me, for some reason, LAX is a hard one on my system. It's hard on performance, but iniBuilds Dallas Kennedy, just looking up and looking good. So Princess Parking is the best squad. I know. It's going to be a hard habit to break for me, Turks. I don't have that fourth stripe now. All right. We spent about 17 minutes. Let's go ahead and fire up this jet and get out of here after I get through this super chat. Eastern T3, my man, thank you for the $20 super chat. As a Brit who watched their first full NFL game yesterday, was it not a good game? I have nothing to compare against. Also, who should I support as I'm going to start watching full-time next season? I've been in New York and D.C. My man, Eastern T3, well, thank you for the $20 super chat first and foremost. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much for that. As far as the game, it was boring in terms of a couple of different things. Now, there are two types of people that watch football: those who have played football and those who just enjoy watching football. Those who have played football tend to watch football a little bit differently because you kind of know what to look for. Yesterday's game wasn't really a game of about great offense and great defense being low scoring. It was more of a kind of some misfiring on offense from Seattle's point of view, And it wasn't stellar defense by the Seahawks. It was actually kind of poor play by the Patriots, which I've been saying this since day one. Patriots were the biggest frauds of all time this year. They didn't beat anybody. I think 90% of the teams they beat this year, they all fired their head coaches. So they were frauds all the way in. But it wasn't a bad game. It's just, for someone, when you watch the NFC Championship or the AFC Championship games a couple weeks ago, that's American football in the snow, coming back from, 10 points down or whatever, just battling it out to the last play. Like, that's a football game. This was kind of like, But I'm glad that you liked it, and I encourage you to watch more. I think you'll kind of pick up what I'm saying as you watch more football and get more experience with it. For a team you want to support, I would tell you to support the New York Jets since you've been to New York, but man, that's probably the worst team in professional sports, not just in football. So I don't know if I could encourage you to watch them. But anyway, you can always root for the Cowboys, home of V1. So, all right. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. We've been on the ground chatting, and it's time to go to work. First time we fire up the 737 as a real 737 driver. Go ahead and smash down that like button for me if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and get the battery switch on. Sounds are coming all the way up. We do have Boris Audio Works on this one. I'm going to go ahead and connect the external power, please. Thank you, sir. Nope, that's not it. I want the external. Request that. I can't get this jet bridge to connect. So all the good things I said about iniBuilds, for some reason I can't get the jet bridge to connect. It just drops the overhang there. It doesn't actually connect the jet bridge. Weird. All right. Aircraft's coming to life. Let's do this thing. Best game of the playoffs with Bills Denver. I agree, Gus. Yeah, if you want to watch a really good game, man, the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos was just awesome. I started watching that game as I was getting ready for sim, and it looked like a normal football game, and then I come back, and it's just complete whiteout blizzard conditions. It was epic, man. It was good. All right, let's power it up. You guys know our flows by now. Let's throw these into a line nav. That's off. That looks good. We go ahead and do some noise. So on my observation flight, I sat down in the jump seat. We'll do our oxygen test here. And the first crew was super awesome. Captain is like 20-something, 24 years or something on the 737. And so as the FO went outside, he came down and got me from the jet bridge. He's like, hey, sit down and start flipping switches. I'm like, what? Like, I was not mentally prepared. I thought I was just going to sit on the jump seat, just hang out, observe, right? Observation flight. No, sit down and start. So I got in and got to run my first full set of flows in the real jet, which was pretty cool. Got to feel my first ever stick shaker test, which was pretty cool. So we'll take a look at our systems here. We got 18. That looks good. Pressurization is 0.92. That looks good. Park brake will set you. And we've got these closed. Head outside, do our pre-flight. With that complete, let's go ahead and finish the top flow. Let's come down here, get the yaw damper on. We do have center tank fuel. We'll get the left forward fuel pump on. I'm going to put you on APU bus. Everything looks good here. Coming down here, emergency exit lights are armed. Let's get our window heat 1, 2, 3, 4 on. Electric hydraulic pumps can stay off. Test this. Boom, there's our green light, 0, up to the overhead. Voice recorders auto, trim airs on, recircs are on, bleeds off. Cruise altitude today. We got all kinds of things here. Let's go ahead and tune up clearance. And let me pull out my flight plan. I have my flight plan on my EFB and on the sim one, but let me just take a look at it quick. What is our cruise altitude? We're going over there at 30,000 feet. We'll set 300. Albuquerque is actually 5,000, so we're going to set 4,000 feet here, right? As our limit, we'll set 4,000. And then we'll have to come back and adjust that on our top of climb. We'll get the logo lights on. Position is in steady. That looks good. Let's come across the left-hand side here. Flight director switch is on. Auto throttle is armed. Flight director switch is on the right-hand side. That looks good. Nose wheel steering switch closed, guarded. Do some lights test. Tapes and 8s. Beautiful. Fuel flow rate or reset back to rate. RTO coming around the lower side. Everything looks good. FMC. And we're going to call up clearance right now, actually. Go ahead and request a clearance, Jeff, please. Do I have it muted? I have it turned way down.
Frequency 118.55, squawk 0431, American 2600.
Alright, that's going on. Radar's off. That looks good. Let's throw this over here.
Ground point 65, American 2600.
American 357, ready for IFR clearance to Albuquerque Sunport.
Jesse Ordonez, my man, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, dude. Appreciate you, man.
Clearance cleared to Albuquerque Sunport. Harper Tree departure with the Halsey transition. Then is filed. Climb via SID. Departure frequency 126.475. Squawk 3626.
Cleared to Albuquerque Sunport.
Albuquerque Sunport, 3626 TARA. Thank you again, Jesse. If you pick up a membership from Jesse, make sure you shout him out and say thank you. One DSC, do I have Dominic Designs? I do. I do have the Dominican Designs Albuquerque. I do indeed. Alright. 1-8 left, so let's go ahead and start doing this. Actually, we need to initialize this, so let's go GPS left, bring you back, put you here. KDFW. Boom. Route DFW. And let's do a flight plan request. That's us, DFW to Albuquerque. And what we can actually do is we're going to set payload. We're going to set fuel. Oh no, what happened? What'd I do?
United 2639.
Simbrief block fuel set. Payload set. Route requesting. There we go. Is a TCAS test not a normal procedure? No. But you can hit it. I should have actually tested the radar too, right? The little radar test and all that.
Over to tower 126.55, American 21.
I've done the TCAS test 3 times on accident, Sam. Mick Oatmeal, Ale, what happened to career track? I'm actually on Iveo, though. I am on Iveo, if you want to. I've been sporting Iveo for a little bit. But this is beyond ATC, indeed. This is beyond ATC. All right, route uplink is ready. Let's go ahead and load you. It's so cool because when I first saw this, the way everything uplinks here, I thought this was just PMDG's way of doing it in the sim. But it's actually not. It's how the airplane does it, which is pretty dang cool. Congrats, everyone. Been loving learning about more about the 7.3. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I'll tell you what, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. I'm actually pretty excited. All right, departures. We're going to be off 1-8 left. We'll get the full north route. 1-8 left on the Harper 3. Harper 3 out to Halsey. We'll execute that. While I'm looking at it, what is that? Is it 5,000? Or 10? Harper 3. Where are you at? The Whodad. Harper 3 is 10,000 feet. 10,000 is set. All right. Harper 3 set. All right. Let's go back to route page. All right. After Halsey.
American 1244, contact DFW tower 265.
Direct to Reckon. And then the Coulter 4 into Albuquerque. We could put in an expected runway of runway 8 for Coulter 4. So let's do that now. Arrival. We'll plan the ILS 8, Coulter 4, Reckon transition. We won't put any additional transition in there just for now. We'll leave it as is. All right, that looks good. Perf initialization. 0 fuel weight will bring you over 128.7. Cost index, we're going to speed it up because we've been talking for 15 minutes. Oops. 88 reserves of 2.4 and 3.9. So let's just call that 6.4. Let's just do 6.4 on that. Cruise altitude. We're flying over to Albuquerque today at flight level 300. We'll execute that, and since we set 3000, we'll make sure we have that set 3000. There we go. Beautiful. 3000 is set. N1 limit page. Man, do we do actual? Nah, let's go 26K bump. Or, come on, let's do 27K bump. Who cares about realism? I want to hear those Boris engine sounds. All right, 27K bump, no D-rate, takeoff. Flaps 1. And CG is 4.79. And we'll throw in our Cure HV speeds. It's not actually the proper way to do that, but we'll leave it for sim purposes. We'll set V2 154 in the window up here. 154. We also want to set course 176. 176 across the board on both sides, and we'll also set heading 176. All right, 176, 154, VNAV. No VNAV? Well, we're not doing VNAV, LNAV yet. Find that execute something. Oh, because we're not aligned. That's why. Duh. All right, let's get the APU fired up. Fueling is complete.
Gate Delta 20, request pushback.
American 2093 DFW.
Congrats, everyone. Are you now a commuter? I am. Except my first trip is not a is not commuting. It's out of my home base, so it's good, man. So I don't have to commute for my first OE trip. My second one, I will have to.
Envoy 764, gate Bravo 18, taxi via Quebec 7, Quebec Zulu. Hold short runway 17.
The S-turn RNAV for 26 is very challenging from DFW. Looks like 8 is active today. I'll take a look. 1 DSC. We'll take a look at it when we get up and cruise.
Envoy 764.
I'm going to turn down our radios there. What happened? Oh, already had this one. Mike 85, what's going on, man? Good to see you, buddy. All right, APU is up and running. We'll start the chrono. Give that a couple minutes. We can throw it on bus, though. APU is on bus. That looks good. All right, let's do a Magic Barrel ref update. 10,000 is set. Now we should be able to go. LNAV. VNAV is set. Both sides. Courses are set. And let's take a look just in case we have to come back. ILS 17 center. We'll come back to, I'll tell you what. Let's do it proper, right? Practice how we fly. 18 left is the longest one. So if we have to come back 18 left, and frequency is 110.55. 110.55. All right, while we wait for the APU, Sam, are you ready for your route legs review, sir? Who's ready for the briefings of all time? All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Route legs review starting now. Dallas, Fort Worth, Albuquerque, American 357. We're filed Harper 3, Holsey, direct Reckon to the Coulter 4. That puts us on the approach for runway 8. Moving over to legs. Are you ready? All right, first fix, B Park. I'm actually going to put you in plan mode. Boom. B Park. YAML at above 5,000 feet. Furman. Tiger. Double S. Harper. Holsey. Reckon. Zatox. Now we're going to be on the arrival going into Albuquerque. Snoop between 20 and 28. Coulter between 14 and 18. Wiley at or above 11,000 feet. Coyote. Then Tento? Tenito? I don't know what that is. 210 at 10,000 feet. Colin. And then that's the approach for the ILS runway 8. Starts at Jilab Gezel going to runway 8. I've got a total route distance 517 miles. That checks. All right, we'll do a route copy. That's complete. Let's go ahead and move over to performance. Are you ready? We actually have a closeout here, so we can do this properly now. Let's go all the way down so you guys can see it. All the way down there. All right, load closeout. Well, before we do the closeout brief, we'll do the regular brief. All right, got a 0 fuel weight, 128.7, reserve 6.4, cost index 88, cruising over there, flight level 300, transition altitude is 18,000 feet. We got no D rate today. It's 20 degrees outside. We're doing a 27K bump per the TPS, which would be extremely unlikely. Flaps 1, off runway 18 left, full length 143, 145, 154, and trim a 4.79. Make sure you are set, 4.79. Trim is set. Cool. All right, that's been complete. It's been about 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and get the APU bleed air on. Let's go ahead and get packs on. Let's get you on. Let's go ahead and set you up over there. Let's go ahead and get the anti-collision light on. Let's close up shop and get out of here. All right, let's go ahead and remove chocks. Call for push. Have you told about A1ing yourself in a position on the second trip, right? Turks, no. I didn't think you could do that for that. I thought it had to be normal jump seat. I'll look into that, though, man. Pushback approved to east. All right, stand by. All right, let's run our before start checklist, please. All right, before start checklist. Parking brake set, oxygen check, navigation transfer and display switches, normal and auto, window heat is on, pressurization, auto and set, terrain display selected, MCP 154, 176, 10,000 set, displays checked, auto brake, RTO, fuel quantity and distribution 17,300 pounds on board and checked, CDU checked, engine start levers cut off, transponder TARA, aileron rudder trim 00, departure brief complete, fasten belts on, APU on buses, fuel panel set, flight forms AML on board accepted, aircraft 3 kilo golf, PEDs off, before start checks still line, cockpit to ground, got a cockpit, go ahead. Are you ready for brake release? A firm, ready for brake release, brakes release, stand by. All right, doing my flow, boom, 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 doors out, anti-collision light, oh, I turned it on early, is on. Verify pressurization. Now, this is a great question I got asked on my check ride. Why is it important that once you turn on the electric hydraulic pumps, do we come back down here and verify again that it is pressurizing? Why is this an important check? It's more than just, you know, make sure you have pressure. But I'll tell you the answer. It's because this is our last time to check the actual electric pumps before we start engines. Because once you start engines, you won't be able to know the effectiveness of your electric pump because the engine hydraulic pumps are going to be working as well. So you want to make sure that the electric pump is fully functioning and can get you up to 2950 PSI before you start engines. It's more than just a normal, you know, check. It's because once you start engines, you're not going to be able to check just the, unless you turn the hydraulic switches off, which is completely abnormal and you would never do that, right? Unless you turn the engine anti-ice off. Anyway, all right, that's all set. Let's go ahead and run below the line. Anti-ice, as requested, generators on, air conditioning and bleed set, flaps, oh no, I'm sorry, Pro-Pede on, hydraulic panel set, doors, windows, closed, locked, anti-collision is on. Brakes release, clear to push.
American 2093, contact DFW Tower 126.55. Have a good one.
If that sequence is built with a deadhead to start and or you can notion deadhead A1 or something, if it isn't built with a deadhead, you have to jump seat. Okay, yeah, that's, okay, yeah, Turks. Yep, that's how I understand it. Yeah, my second sequence is in the base that I am based at, so I will have to just commute out. Yes. The second sequence is not built with a deadhead. The first one is, but it's out of my home, so I can drive to it.
American 1367, request taxi.
Cockpit to ground, you clear engine start. All right. Turn 2. Left pack, right pack's off. Grounding 2. Hack the clock.
Taxi via Golf Hotel Whiskey Foxtrot, American 1367.
At least you can reserve the jump seat? Yes, that is true. Vodka.
Zero tree, continue taxi.
It's about as good as I can get it. I've made some actual tweaks. I'll upload it, but it's about as good as I'm going to get it with having my desk the way it is. Push complete, set brakes. Boris Audio Works doing Boris Audio Works things. Make sure I set the brake. Good start on 2, Cap. Alright. Isolate, ventilate. Should we attempt a single engine taxi? Oh, we just started 2. Never mind. Alright, grounding 1. Here we go. %. Fuel on. Phoenix Galaxy, you could, but be very uncomfortable for the passengers for air conditioning. Actually, no, I said it backwards. You could definitely single engine on. I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking single engine taxi in. My bad. Yeah, we could have singled it on 2. Could have singled on 2 for sure. That's all right. We'll do it next time. All right. 2 good starts. Boom, boom, boom. No, that's not required. That's all set. All right. Blank U. Blank U. Flight controls. I have a salute flaps 1.
Envoy 50 tree, contact DFW Tower 126.55.
Over to Tower 126.55. Envoy 503.
Call him, Jeff.
American 357, left taxi via Kilo, Yankee, Foxtrot, Whiskey Foxtrot.
Runway 18, left taxi via Kilo, Yankee, Foxtrot, Whiskey Foxtrot, American 357.
All right, 18 left, Kilo. Standard tax arrival, departure. Standard tax rail 18 left. 18 left outer. What did he give us? Kilo, Yankee, Fox, Whiskey Fox. We'll just look at the actual. I don't think they didn't give us a standard. But normally what they do to minimize traffic, they'll just say taxi 18 left via the outer. Taxi 18 left via the inner. And then you have your taxi instructions here. Those are standard taxi routes. But we'll see what he said. I want to see what he gave us. So we're coming out of C. He said Kilo, that's the inner. Yankee Bridge, Fox, Whiskey Fox, full length. We can do it. Roger that. Taxi lights on, brakes released. Let's go flying.
Envoy 9867, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Envoy 9867.
Pay attention to the Yankee Bridge. My 7-3 jumps there. All right, Falcon. I'll pay attention. Jumps there, as in, does it crash your sim, or are you good? Let's see what kind of clearance we have here. Once upon a time, the 737 took out a light pole. Oh, rest in peace, spiritual wings on departure. Look at that banana bus getting it in the sunrise. Man, the little bit of shake on the horizontal stab is awesome. All right, Kilo Yankee. You know why the Yankee Bridge is the farthest north bridge in DFW, guys? You know why it's out of place? There's a strategic reason why the Yankee Bridge is the north bridge. Does Bleak Plan not let you bring her into the cabin on one? No, it does, Phoenix Galaxy. It does. How much longer do you think before public bus with wings shuts down for good? I don't think they're going to shut down for good, dude. I would be absolutely shocked. I've never believed that they would just shut down. Now,
American
I'm not saying that's
1367,
impossible.
Contact DFW Tower
I'm just saying I don't believe it is. Yankee is furthest north, closest to actual Yankees. Yeah, buddy, diabetic lad. I must have told that joke before. But yeah, they want to keep the Yankees as far north as possible down here in old southern land. Good morning, V1. I was in and out of DFW this weekend for my wife's follow-up appointment. Terminal F is coming along nicely. Heck yeah, Thumper. Hope you had a pleasant experience going through the great DFW.
Pushback.
Envoy 258 DFW ground, pushback approved, face north.
I think it was right here we took out there was a light pole that got taken out
Envoy 258.
back in the day. So the taxiway center line, this is a little criticism of mine. This kind of looks weird. It's not, it doesn't look like that. This looks like we're following a big mud streak. Now, I will say this is an extremely close detail. The taxiway centerline lights are actually on the left side of the center line here on Kilo. So that's pretty cool. But the centerline color texture here looks a little off. I don't know why. It looks like maybe they tried to emphasize it or something. It looks a little off. Or it looks thick. You know, it looks muddy. But small detail. Merger with Frontier is your odds on? Yeah. And when they merge, expect DFW base to close. Honestly, Turks, with Sun Country and who is it? Allegiant merging now, there's got to be more consolidation. There has to be more consolidation. So, I mean, Frontier is very likely. I think that would happen. But what's the mod? It's called Bijan. B-I-J-A-N. Just look up the Bijan trees for 2024.
Envoy 258, taxi for departure.
I am using Boris Audio, correct. Whoa, 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 whoa. I guess we're giving away to this guy, huh?
All right, we'll taxi to runway 18 left via Hotel Yankee, Yankee, Foxtrot, Whiskey, Foxtrot, Envoy 258.
Alright, guess we're giving away.
American 2767, gate Delta 22, request pushback.
So did I tell you my
2767 DFW ground, pushback
my story of
Pushback approved. Face
American
north,
Airlines
2767.
pilot on the radio was told, Spirit was told to give way to American, and American keys the mic as they should, and the controller promptly got back on the mic and said, actually, American, let's rephrase that, you hold short, give way to Spirit. Great, I love that controller. Alright, we're going to take the Janky Bridge. We're going to see if we jump up and down or not. Here is the corporate center. All the corporate jets. What is it, Atlantic? I can't remember which FBO is over here. Signature? I don't know. It won't be abnormal to see 777, 787 over here. They do charter, so when the Cowboys fly out or sports teams fly in, this is typically where you'll see the charter aircraft park. So you'll see actual airliners up here. All right, let's see. Let's climb the bridge. You need to bring some speed to the bridge, so here we go. You know what? I never did our recall. I got 6. You got 6. Let's run our after start. NISS required generators on. Air conditioning and bleeds are set. Flaps set. Flight controls checked. Recall is checked. After start check is complete. We'll climb the bridge here, and then we'll do our before takeoff to the line. All right. So far, so good. Let's take it easy.
American 2767, taxi for
See,
departure.
this center line looks pretty good. They got the drainage right there.
American 2767, runway 18 left taxi.
This
via
is
Golf
spot on
Hotel,
accurate
Foxtrot.
with the, I guess the metal
Runway
plating
18
there.
Left taxi via Golf Hotel.
I love
Whiskey
this view.
Foxtrot, American 27.
Always have, going over the bridge. I always thought it was so cool to taxi over a road. As a kid, I used to think it was so cool to taxi or to drive under a bridge. That looks pretty good to me. No jumping yet. I know, Reset Jet. But I got to get the stream over with today. There's a little bit of a jump. Here's another employee lot. You'll see some campers out there. Pretty good color on the signs there. That's about it. That's pretty accurate. The sun starts to rise. As you see a bunch of 175 CRJs over here, home of the Envoys. A little bit of a dip coming off the bridge. Fairly accurate. And then as we come down off the other side, we should start to pick up speed. All right, let's go ahead and review our closeout, shall we? All right, we'll double check the zero fuel weight, 128.7. That checks. Go to the N1 takeoff page. CG has not changed, so that checks. Ready for a closeout brief? All right, we still got a headwind. We grossed out at 145.7. That's below our structural limit of 151 and our assumed of 149. N1s are 101.3. That's within 0.5 of TPS.
Envoy 258, hold
All right.
position for traffic.
What did he say? What was our tax rate? Foxtrot, Whiskey Fox. So let's go to the next one. All right, let's run it to the line. Takeoff data and bugs. Closeout received and checked. Flaps, 1. Green light. Stab, trim. 4.78 units. HUD is in op. Generators on. Air conditioning and bleeds. Auto and set to the line. All right, Foxtrot will cut across the pad here. You just applied Envoy a couple weeks ago. Hope I hear something. Nice, man. AFO, time to leave the 135? Well, keep us posted, dude. That's exciting, man. Keep us posted. Do they have a base where you live?
Envoy 258, hold
If there's an
position for
airline
traffic on
that
the
has a
pad.
base where you live, I highly recommend applying to that
Envoy
one.
258.
Oh, Blazer's here himself. Turk's in the house. What's up, Turk here?
Continue taxi, Envoy 258.
All right, let's run below the line, please. MCPND, we got 176, 154, 10,000 set. PA. Turk herein, please prepare for takeoff. It's complete. Lights set before takeoff. Checklist is complete. Verified. Whiskey Fox gave us full
American
length.
Tree 57, contact DFW Tower 126.5.
What racing that American?
Over to Tower 126.55.
They wouldn't tell you to change. You would be expected to change on your own. All right, let's go.
American 2583, DFW Tower, wind 165 at tree, runway 17 left, cleared to land.
I'm racing this guy. You're not going to beat me.
17 left, cleared to land. American
You're going to
2583.
beat me, sir. Call him, Jeff.
American 357, holding short, runway 18 left.
American Tree 57, DFW Tower, wind of 165 at tree, run out to B Park, runway 18 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 18 left, aeronap to B Park, cleared for takeoff, American 357.
Yeah, buddy. Keep it running.
Envoy 258, hold position for traffic.
Hold position for traffic, Envoy 258.
Envoy 258, continue taxi.
Envoy. Driving me
Continue
nuts.
taxi, Envoy 258.
Envoy. Are you a pilot? If so, what plane do you fly? Man, I've been waiting all my life to say this.
Envoy 258.
I fly
hold
the
position for traffic.
737, Mike.
Hold position, Envoy 258.
I fly the 737. All right, here we go.
American 2767, ready to go.
Without Jen
runway
on
18
bus? What are you
left.
talking about? Oh, my word. We need to have the freaking APU on running still, too.
American 2767, hold short of 18 left.
Thank you, Gus. All right,
Roger, hold short of 18 left for traffic.
Captain Problems.
American 2767.
Spool them up. Get those yogas in chat. Let's go. RNF B Park. Legs page. Set. First yoga as a 737 driver. Here we go. Yes, sir. What? Oh, it's a spoiler. I got it.
American
Spoiler was on.
2767, runway 18 left.
80.
Wait.
rotate.
Positive brake.
Hero. Oh, trim seemed a little off. Fly with. That is so sick. Look at the lack of pine trees. That's Bijan's trees coming in clutch.
Tower, wind 165 at tree, fly heading 230, runway 18 left, cleared for takeoff.
All right, we're through acceleration altitude.
Fly heading 230, runway 18 left, cleared for takeoff.
All right, we're through the one bug. Flaps up.
67. Envoy 258, runway 18 left, line up and wait.
Runway 18 left, line up and wait. Envoy 258.
American Tree 57, contact Lone Star departure. Have a good morning.
Contact Lone Star.
Too busy looking at wing view there.
57.
Let's get back on it.
Lone Star departure, American 357, 3600.
Sorry, Lone Star. I was too busy looking at my Bijan trees. Just
American Tree 57, Lone Star departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000.
Climb and maintain 15,000, American 357.
all right, 15,000 to set. F takeoff checklist. Gear lever. Off. Off. Flaps up. No lights. Cabin's moving. Anti-ice not required. F takeoff checklist is complete. 29 square miles. DFW Airport. Gotta love it, baby. Got to love it.
Lone Star departure, American 2767, 2100.
I wonder what kind of winds we're going to have in cruise today.
American 2767, Lone Star departure, good morning, radar contact, cleared direct to my eye, resume the watch 1, climb, maintain 1,000 feet.
Cleared direct
What's
to my eye.
laughs in Denver? Beef Jesus, what's the square miles of Denver? That's got to be massive.
American 2767.
I'm actually curious what Denver is. We're going to hand fly this for a minute and take a listen to the engines humming along. 6-7 square miles, very funny, Gus. You're too old to be saying that, Gus. Man, that Bijan trees though, it's like,
Envoy 258, 2100.
I feel like it has just completely changed my sim. I don't have those green trees everywhere. I know I'm all over the departure here, but I'm just enjoying looking outside. All right, we're going through 10,000 feet. Hit them with the chime. We'll get our retracts in because we're on a block 1 or 2 aircraft here. We'll leave everything else out. We'll lower the nose. 326, our cost index climb out speed. I'll go ahead and turn down the sim a little bit. I'll also turn down
Envoy 258.
the radios. Don't need those today. We'll get her up. We'll get her up through about 18,000 feet, and then we'll put the autopilot on. Whoever recommended Bijan must be the goat. Turkaren actually is the one who recommended it, guys. So, Bijan Tree Mod. Is it? Which one is it? Somebody said it's the season one, Turk. No, it's just Bijan Trees, right? For 2024. Is that what it's actually called? Because I know there was a Bijan Season Enhanced. Maybe that's it. I'll look, man. As soon as I turn my autopilot on, I'll double check for the guy that was asking. Is it SOP to continue to take off roll even when the sworn sounds for non-armed spoiler and the genuine clearest? No. And it was from an armed spoiler, not an unarmed spoiler. So the spoiler light, you don't arm the spoiler. Just because of my spoiler lever on the Bravo, the way it works. Now, if you had a takeoff config push button, you would have been able to identify that. I'm going to apply to Allegiant Sun Country when they open up and hopefully complete the merger, have enough multi-turbine. Nice, dude. My son told me 6.7 is so 2025 and told Gus to stop flying it. Oh, no. Oh, that was us, 3000.
American 357.
All right, 300.
American
Set.
1324, contact Fort Worth Center 127.15.
Close enough for government work. Command A is on.
American 1324.
We're headed to Albuquerque. On the marketplace, it's called Seasons Enhanced. Same product. Okay, same product. Good. Thank you, Beef Jesus. Yes, that's the one. Look, yeah, that is the one. And not a sponsor plug, I promise you, because what was it, $20? But it's worth it. The pine trees. I didn't realize how many pine trees were in the sim until I loaded into the iniBuilds DFW, and I was like, why? Surely iniBuilds didn't put pine trees here. It's just the sim.
American 1796.
So then I was like, okay, how do I remove these pine trees? And it's not only removing pine trees, it gives you multiple different types of foliage and other types of trees. Makes it much more realistic. Don't buy from Marketplace, he updates weekly. Good, yes, that's a good recommendation. He does update a lot. So if you are looking for Bijan Seasons Enhanced, buy it directly from the dev, because the updates will come much faster for you, which could be very important if there's an update from a Zobo or something and something gets borked. You're going to want to be able to have that quick update ability. It removes blocky PG trees from LA and stuff. Yes, that's awesome too. Turk says from his store page, remove pine forest from parts of Texas. Is that really on there? That's epic if it is. American 2767. Psych. Completed my AFF license this weekend to skydive. Oh, never thought I'd be jumping at perfect good airplanes, but it's so fun. Fireflyer, that's awesome, man. Congrats, dude. I've done 2 jumps. Tandem, obviously. Freaking awesome, man. I could see what people get addicted. I was definitely scared the first time. I was like, this is, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But man, Skydive Arizona, man. 13,000 feet. We flew a Twin Otter up there. Freaking loved it. Got on the ground. It's the weirdest thing. If you've never jumped out of an airplane, complete side tangent. If you've never jumped out of an airplane, it's the weirdest thing, because I'd say if you're semi-normal, you're going to be nervous and a little bit scared. Like, I can't believe I'm about to jump out of an airplane. By the time you hit the ground, you're like, you just want to go back up and do it again. You just want to go up and do it again. It was epic. Have you started looking at long-haul flights to see if it makes sense? No, Gus. The only thing I've looked, so my long-term plan, not a long-term plan, but kind of piggybacking on some of the training that I received, was really good training at the schoolhouse. I had a sim IPs, a couple of which were, there's a first officer instructor program where you run the sims, and I think, obviously not in the near term, right? I'm a freaking probie, man. I got a long way to go, but I think instead of long haul wide body stuff, my ideal way of doing it would be eventually get back on the bus and be a sim IP. I think that would be cool. So, that would be, you could mix it up. I was talking to my buddy about this too. I mean, I've been flying the line for a long time. I haven't been flying for 40 years, but I've been, combined with my regional days, I've been flying the line 15 years. My regional and freight life. So, I wouldn't mind the prospect of mixing it up and sitting in a box and driving to work every day for a short period of time, but that's the future. That's my future plans. But we'll see. Like anything, plans can change, right? Plus, I just straight up enjoy teaching. That's the other thing. I just enjoy teaching people, so. Have you started? That would be so legit. Sim instruction would be fun. I think it'd be fun, Phoenix Casting. I really do. It's very weird seeing the plane disappear in the distance, and then you are weightless. The adrenaline rush is amazing. 1 DSC. It is, man. It really is. Try jumping out of a totally fine C-17 with 50, 60 pounds of kit at night. That is a thrill. Al Loper, I could only imagine, dude. I could only imagine. Dude, some of the, you know, like the nighttime halo jumping, like that's just wild stuff, dude. It's wild. When you sit back and think about what we do as humans, pretty insane. Here's the argument for long haul in our base. Reserve has 85-hour block limit. On the wide bodies, that is reached at most 12 days. So you would work a max of 12 days a month, as opposed to 15 on the narrow body, so 3 fewer days working a month. That's your justification for a wide body bid. Turks, I mean, shoot, that's a pretty good justification. I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that at all, man. You know what we need, Turks? We need some of these old Spirit guys who had the best QOL contract ever to start getting into negotiating for APA. We need to start bringing in some actual nice quality of life improvements. That's what we need. We need to get some, but not the same. Hey, by no means do I mean the same guys that were negotiating for Spirit Alpha. No way. Those guys cannot be trusted. I'm calling for them to be done since 2015, but anyway, I digress. Time zone catch-up, that'll eat some days. Yeah, that's the other thing, Vodka. So for me, yeah, if you can sleep on airplanes, knock yourself out, man. Knock yourself out. NBC chartered 2 Bombardier 700 to get their team from SF to Italy on the Winter Olympics? Really? That's wild. They sent a strongly worded letter on the board that got thrown in the trash. Surely that's good enough. Yeah. My goodness. There were skydivers at my old airport. It was one old janky bare metal 182 that would take them up. I'd see the jumpers turning downwind in the pattern. That's awesome, man. V1 wants the A350, man. You know what I'm more interested in actually now is the 777X. I think that'll be the last good Boeing airplane. Perhaps, if it ever comes to fruition. Because the 7.8's pretty mid the more I look at it. Alright, we're 26 for 30. Standards are set. We should have done a couple other things. This went through 18,000 feet. Let's go ahead and kill the rest of our lights. Got an 18,000 foot flow. Wing lights coming off. Logo can come off. We can reset our land altitude. I think it's 50. Let's take a look at it. We got to set our Albuquerque field elevation. We said we were going to do runway 8, but you guys want to do 26. I'll take a look at both. Let me just see what the field elevation is. 53, 55, so let's call it 5,400. We'll call it 5,400 on the land elevation. I'll leave this page up to remind myself what we're going to look at here in a minute. No fume events. Turkaren, you absolutely are correct. Didn't a British Airways 777 just divert because of a fume event? I think, you sent me that, right, Turkaren? Americans getting rid of 7576 was tragic. It is indeed, man. Missed those 75s. But here's the thing. I think eventually that's going to catch up to these other airlines that have been nursing them along for so long. I mean, Delta's getting rid of them. United's getting rid of them. They're going to keep stretching them along, but we'll see. At some point, they're going to start retiring all those, and they're going to have to go through that process. I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. I think they should have kept them. I'm a huge fan of the 7.5, but it's almost like, what would you rather do? Rip the Band-Aid off now and start healing, or keep the Band-Aid on and eventually have a deal with it later? You never know, right? Because what is the industry going to look like in 5, 10 years? Nobody knows. Are your strobes on? Switch looks off. No, it's on. It's in position and steady. So that's a two-way switch, right? Or a three-way, actually. It's all the way up, position and steady. I should have done this. I forgot that. It's all right. All right, we're leveling 300. I don't believe that for some reason. Really? What's optimum? $38. What's our winds up here? 66. Let's take a look. Do we have a wind forecast in the PMDG paperwork? I just feel like it's kind of early to level. Let's see. Winds, where are we at? We are approaching Harper. We have a wind, in-route wind thing here.
American tree 57, contact forward center 133.5. Have a good morning.
Bleeds, takeoff, landing data, runways. No, we don't have it in this one. All right.
1324 forward.
We'll go up here to the wind chart. Who's that? AJ Funari, my man. How I missed you, AJ. How you doing, buddy? V1's hello to our new pilot's email hasn't fully circulated yet, and he's already planning his forever position. AJ, thanks for the $5 super chat, man. Listen, I was that guy that when I started my last operator, I was thinking to myself, and we even had a conversation. I was like, hey, it's not every day you start your last job. Yeah, talk about foot and mouth. Now, I wasn't as bad as my buddy who brought donuts to class and was all I mean, I was excited too, but I mean, my buddy Billy, he's hilarious. He's flying at another legacy now, but when he came to our previous operator together, he had a bunch of donuts. He brought donuts for the class, all this stuff, and it was all about, just starting my last day. Nope, he left. But yeah, so I say that because when I was in sim training, one of the snowed in Icelandic nights when we were getting ready to do sims, I was talking to another sim check pilot that was there in the break room, and it's like he made the comment like, well, hopefully this is our last job. This is the last job for everyone. And I'm like, I'm not going to say that. I've already been down that road. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to jinx anything. But you never know, man. The industry is up and down. Mick Shiggity, what's up, buddy? V1 checking in with you from freezing Massachusetts. How'd your sim check ride go? I'm sure you did great. Mick Shiggity, pilot, it actually went fantastic. I'm glad you asked. I'll talk about the whole profile here in a minute. I said it at the start of the stream, man. The whole training experience I had, it's a combination of the training. It's not me, because I'm just really just a dumbass, to be honest with you. But it was the easiest check ride I've ever done. Easiest, not even just check ride, just training experience. And the reason it was easy is because the way it was taught was so well done. I have nothing but good things to say about the training department and how they handled everything, and it just was a great all-around experience. And I'll hit on that more too. It looks like the winds, let's see. I'm trying to see these winds. Vertical profile. We're at Harper. Let's just stay. Screw it. We'll just stay here at 30. It's not a big deal. All right, seatbelt sign is off. You're free to move about the cabin. But thanks, Big Shiggity Pilot. Hope you're staying warm, my man. Zippy Zapple in the house? What's going on, dude? Someone say something about Atari Ferraris. Oh, jeez. Zippy, how you been, man? I feel like I haven't been in the Discord for the last couple weeks. I've been really isolated. I've been in the schoolhouse, right? I've been studying. Anytime I did get off, you had 48 hours off after, I think, we went in 5-day blocks to get 48 hours off. And I would like to I spent most of that time with the fam, just kind of hanging out, trying to be unplugged. But, so yeah, I feel like I've missed all my Discord buddies and everybody in the chats, but we'll start picking it up. Here's the thing, there's going to be a whole lot more of me when I'm commuting and sitting reserve, so you'll probably see a whole lot more of me than you want to. Diabetic Lad says, jinx it and end up on the CRJ 200. Oh, Diabetic Lad, please, my man, please. Are you going to remove your Spirit tattoo? No, Recon 5, I think I'm going to keep that one. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it for sure. It's on my right butt cheek. Gus says, it's not like they're almost 100 years in the industry, right? Yeah, dude, Gus, the 100 years livery? Great poll question, Gus. Who has the best 100 years livery? So, let's see. There's Delta. There's American. There's United, which is absolutely terrible. What's Lufthansa's? I'll put Lufthansa in here. Lufthansa. I'm going to Google that. What's the Lufthansa 100 years? Now, here's my hot take, though. The American 737 100 years livery is, I think, really awesome. It breaks up the all gray so well. And it's actually on Flight Sim TO if you want to fly it. But the American 100 years livery is really nice. Let me see, Lufthansa. Ooh. Ooh, I don't know. You guys like the Lufthansa one? That's a whole lot of... Oh, I see what it is, because it's the logo. Okay, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick, man. Not gonna lie. That is a pretty good one. Zippy says, been alright, sir. Haven't been simming as much due to getting busy, but I joined the Tri-Holder Club recently. I did see that. I did see you flying the Tri-Holder, man. Too bad you're still on mid-2020 sim. Jeremy Harvey in the house. How you doing, buddy? Says, how's it going? I'm sorry to hear you have a cold. I'm feeling... Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm feeling much better, man. It was, I think it was about a 24-hour cold. It's just my voice tends to lag behind a little bit. It might not help the screaming, hoot, and hollering yesterday. It was super cool, but... yeah, my last day. So I finished training, and then I had to go back for, we call it MAX Return to Service training, which is where it's put on by Boeing. You get instructed by Boeing, and it's all about MCAS. And I mean, it was good, but it wasn't anything that I hadn't done before. So, you know, I think part of that was because of the instructors that I had because we were pretty far ahead. My sim partner, he was a first officer upgrading to captain, so he had been on the jet for 4 years, so he's experienced with it. I try to show up prepared as best I can, so when we had extra time, we would do extra stuff, you know, like, well, let's do a trim runaway, let's do this, or hey, we're in a max sim, let me show you something that you're going to do when you do your max return to service training. So it was all stuff that I had seen before, but it's pretty interesting when they dissect it. The ground briefing was really good. I had a really good, really smart guy, man. Just, there are some IPs and check pilots that I ran into that it's just like, I mean, I'm in the building of, I don't know, there's, at any given time, there's hundreds of people in this building, and without doubt, no question in my mind, am I sitting across from the table with the smartest dude in that building. And he was my max return to service guy was one of those. Speaking of tri-holers, iniBuilds L1011 update this week. There's an update, Diabetic Lad? What does that mean? More screenshots, perhaps? Yeah, Gus, I was looking at that Lufthansa 350. I don't like it, Gus, on the 7.4. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it on the 7.4 380. I like it on the 350. I think the 350 and the 7.8 doesn't look bad either. It's something about the double decker with it almost looks too thick, like too much blue. But on the single floor, it does look good. Haas, my man, I sent you some Mac stuff for Real Ref. Yes, I did. Hey, Haas, it's funny. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Glad to see you here in the chat. I read all of it, man. I was reading all of it. I did think it was very interesting, so I appreciate the information, man. Absolutely. I love getting information like that, whether it's from comments or run into people on the street and we're talking about things. Like, I love it, man. I like knowing that stuff, getting that knowledge, man. Appreciate you. Dev update and juicy screenshot widget L1011 in all its glory. Ooh. Speaking of heading knobs, AJ, let me get my heading bug synced for you. There you go. Who was... Oh, it was Flyby Tim. Somebody was asking in the Discord if... I'm pretty sure it was Tim. He's not here. He said, is it true that... You're like, he thought it was a bug. Somebody thought it was a bug that the magenta line doesn't go all the way to the top of the ND arc. That's actually how it is. That's exactly how it is right there. All right, we're up at cruise. Should we do our... en route tasks? Do you guys want to do some en route tasking? I gotta bring out my flow guide because I still don't remember all this stuff. Should we do a drag trim check? Minimum drag trim settings. All right. Let's just do this one there, make sure it is kosher. So what we're going to do, once we get to cruise, change the ND to heading top and fly like a real human? No, I got to fly like the real thing. So we're going to do a heading or drag trim check. So we're going to set our heading bug. We're in a straight piece of airway. We're going to select heading. Heading selected. Okay, so now we're going to trim the rudder if we need to make sure our heading bug is perfectly synced. It looks perfectly synced. Maybe just I'm curious if it even makes a difference. Kind of. Let's see if I can purposely put it out of trim. Ah. Yeah, you see how the carrot is not completely aligned? So we would need some little bit of left rudder. So something you don't have to worry about in sim, but in real world, you got to do your drag trim checks, make sure the airplane is flying straight and level. Save fuel efficiency, right? Make sure it's all good. I think I went too far on that. Let's go one more click to the right. We'll do 2 clicks right, 1 click back. All right, let's go back to LNAV. All right, so that's it. We're back on the LNAV path. Fuel, let's balance the fuel within 100 pounds. We have 602, 608. That's pretty dang close, but let's see if we can't be perfectionist. So let's go ahead and get the crossfeed open. Low side pumps coming off. We'll let the caution light stay on. We'll see if we can get down there because we don't want to be outside of 100 pounds. N1s, auto throttle may be used. Make sure they're not split. They're not. N1s are split, so mat drag trim is set. Aileron trim isn't required because I could feel it on flying out. We didn't need to do that, so that looks good. All right, what else can we do for en-route tasking? FMS plus, we're not doing that. Update cruise winds and descent forecast. We could do that. Oh, all right. Oh, I went overboard. I know I went too far. I did. Let's do this. And back off. Perfect. All right. That's done. Let's see if we can't come in here and do our legs. And we're going to come back to that. Let's see, cruise, descent forecast, descent winds request. Let's get that in here. And then anti-ice on or off. We're not going to put that in there. We don't need that. No anti-ice today. But if you were going to fly into an overcast layer, you'd put your anti-ice on. The altitudes, you'd put it on. Expect to turn it off. That'll help you with your descent planning. ISA deviation, we'd put that in there. Cabin rate descent, all that good stuff. Here comes the message. DCAS forecast uplink ready. We'll load you. Beautiful. That's done. Execute. All right. Looks like we're landing with 8.0. All right. En-route tasking is complete. Milan NN, my man. What's up? Thank you for becoming a private pilot. Appreciate you. Very, very kind. Let's turn this down. Let's go take a look at our glorious bare metal. Man, there's something about the bare metal. It just, I miss it. Love it. UAL put more effort into their anti-Southwest AL advertisements in Denver and Chicago than they did 100 Years livery. Dude, Sam. The United 100 Years livery, I didn't think it was real. I texted my buddy. I was like, is this real or fake? So now it's real. I don't know what happened to that. 2020 still goat sim? Nah. Do airlines fly track up or heading? It depends, Mick. So my previous operator in the bus, we flew heading up, which I am still a huge fan of. I do not understand track up. I don't understand the benefit of track up over heading up on your ND display. Neither are wrong. I think I would always want to know what my heading looks like. I don't know. Because I like to drag my course line, I like to drag my track around the weather and use my heading bug freely. I don't know, I feel like deviating around storms in heading mode is easier. But who knows. Will the 7.3 Max 10 be commonality Max 8? So, and Dandrini, they're trying really hard to make it the same. And I'm pretty sure they will. Because if it was a different type rating, they wouldn't be able to sell any. You have to understand that if Boeing were to make the Max 10 require a new type rating, it's not just additional training for the pilots. You're going to need new simulators. You're going to need to train all of the training pilots to be certified on it. Then you got to bring everybody then you have to type everybody to fly it. So there's a huge hurdle when it comes to cost if you're going to introduce a new type rating, especially for an airplane that's been promised to be the same type for so long. So they're going to keep it the same. Thumper2506, the $5 super chat. Thumper, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Says, bare metal AAL livery on a Mad Dog will always be the GOAT. It will indeed, Thumper. It will indeed. Now that we have a DFW, we're going to have to do a lot of American bare metal ops. I want to do, so we're going to do Austin. I don't know if we do that in bare metal, or we could do it in, there's just some other bare, what did, who was orange? They didn't have MD-80s, did they? Like old school back then. I think they had DC-9s. Some old DC-9 livery, bare metal. But yeah, we got to do an Austin turn. Might have to do the Mad Dog and bare metal. We'll go down there. I just deviate track mode on the bus. Guess you can't do that on the Guppy. You can't. You can't, Turks. Which one would you consider more challenging, going from the Airbus to Boeing or vice versa? Mike Delta, that's a great question. I think it would be much more difficult to go from Boeing to Airbus than Airbus to Boeing. The reason being, and I could be wrong because the way that flight training has changed in the modern day. Like flight training now, guys and gals are training on airplanes that don't even have prop levers. They don't have mixture levers. It's all FADEC, even in the trainers now. So I could be wrong on this. But for the slightly older generation that trained on real aircraft like the Pipers, like the Warriors, the Archers, the Arrows, the Seminoles, the Cessna 152s, the Cessna 172s, for that generation of pilots, I think going from an Airbus to a Boeing would be easier because a 737 is really a huge 172 with jet engines, man. It is a pitch and power airplane. You fly it like you would fly a 172. You really do. I mean, it's you fly it. It's an airplane. So going back to your route of training where you flew pitch, power, manhandling the airplane around, it's the same thing, just on a much larger scale. And, of course, things happen much faster, right? It happens much faster in a jet. But going to the Airbus... The Airbus it's unique because it's not hard to fly at all. It's easier to fly than the 737 because it's all fly-by-wire. But to truly master the Airbus, it's quite challenging because there are so many little nuanced details about, what is the airplane doing in this mode? What about in this mode? What if you're in flare mode? What happens if you're unstable when it takes a snapshot at 30 feet? What if you're in a NEO? What if the snapshot is it at 50 feet or is it 40 feet or is it 30 feet? Depends on which software load you have. Do you have e-rudder? Do you not have e-rudder? So you have all these little nuanced things to an Airbus that make it much more challenging to master. Right? Now it's easy to hand fly. You point it where you want it to go and you let go of the stick and that's where it's going. But energy management in the bus is also very different because you can't just grab the thrust levers and move the thrust levers. So, for instance, on approach, this was the hugest mental hurdle for me when I went to the Airbus off the Embraer. Whenever we flew with auto throttles on all the time, and when you landed, we left them on. But if you wanted to adjust the throttles on approach, as you would in a 737 or as you would on an Embraer. If you're slow, you just override them. So the auto throttle is like trying to bring it back. What you do, you just put your hand there, give a little bit more juice, because you know, as the pilot, seat of your pants with experience, you know you're going to need more juice as you come out of this gust. The auto throttle doesn't know that, so it tends to get sloppy sometimes. The 737, the Embraer, anything with movable throttles, it's pretty straightforward. If you think you need more energy, keep the thrust up. The Airbus, you can't do that. So you have to learn to finagle your pitch. You got to finagle your side stick. You got to be able to finagle your approach profile to keep that extra energy, even if you're talking 1 knot, 2 knots, just to really smooth out that landing. I think it's much more difficult to master going from, and because it's all new. It's all new. If you trained in old school airplanes, you flew the 7.3, going to the Airbus, different world. If you trained in old school airplanes, got over the hurdle of learning the Airbus, and now you're going back, to the 7.3 or back, to a 737 from a bus, you're really just refreshing your memory on the old school way to fly, like the traditional true way of flying. So that's just my opinion on it. I mean, I'm sure it could be different for anybody. Everybody's an individual, right? But that would be my take on it. Next IVAO group flight, I'll bring bare metal MD-11. Zippy, let's shoot for Friday. I think it'd be fun to do an IVAO group flight on Friday. We could do my first flight, so I'm going to Cozumel. We could recreate that, or we could just go somewhere totally random. It's up to you. Is a chrono used for flight time? No. If so, what do you use if it happens to need a flight time maneuver or circle to land? What do you use if you happen to need a timed maneuver, like a circle to land? Ferric, in 15 years of flying passenger jets, I've never had to do a timed maneuver. I've had to do 2 circle to lands, both in an Airbus. I didn't have to use a timer on it per se, but I think that's more of a flight training thing, or maybe just different part of the world where I haven't experienced that. But if you needed to use a timer, you absolutely could use the chrono then. But the chrono, the reason it's going for, I just left it on. I think I started it for the APU timer. So my real world application of the chrono is APU bleed, right? So you want 3 minutes before you turn the bleeds on after you start the APU. Always hack a clock when you move the start switch, because you want to know how long the starter is running, right? If you get a failed start, you got to dry motor the engine. You need to know how much accumulated time you got on the starter, because there's limitations on that. So you hack a clock when you start the engine. You hack a clock when you start a bleed source. You need to let it burn off for a couple minutes. You hack a clock after you land, because you need to get an engine cool down time. Those are the 3 times I use the chrono. Or for me, which I developed during my type ride, or during my type rating training, a lot of times we're doing engine failures, right? Or we're shutting down engines, so we have to cross-feed fuel. When we cross-feed fuel, you can't land with the cross-feed open. It's against our SOP. So what I would do is I would actually start the chrono every time the cross-feed was open, because if we forget, which it's easy to get, you're doing engine shutdowns, engine fires. It's easy to forget your crossfeeds open as you're getting vectored in for the approach. And if I look down here and I'm like, why is my chrono going? I know something's out of place. Oh, crossfeed. Go ahead and put the crossfeed close, right? So that's what I use the chrono for. You could also use it for holdover time back in the day before we had these fancy EFB hot apps that told you your holdover time exactly to the second. You had to keep track of your own time. So I would use that. But that's really the only time I use the chrono in the real airplanes, whether it was the bus or now on the 7.3. But some guys start it for block time, flight time, keep track of all that stuff. I have never used it for that, because all of our block times has always been ACARs, right? So the aircraft is recording that in the FMC. When you release the brake, some airlines have different versions. When you release the brake, the clock starts in the ACARs, right, or in the FMC, and then it will be sent to dispatch. They know your out time, they know your off time. It also knows when you go wheels up. Sometimes it's wheel roll, sometimes it's ground speed. There's different triggers where the actual block time will start depending on your airline, but I've never used. The only time I ever used a clock for block time was when I was flying freight. And that's the only time I used it as well, I think now. No, I don't think I ever used it for like a approach. I don't remember ever doing like time circling approaches or anything like that. But I used to keep track of the time, not necessarily a chrono in the when I was flying freight, because that's how you were paid. So I'd write down my out time. There's no ACARs in a Beech 99, so you write down your out time. You write down your off time when you cross the threshold for takeoff is when I would do it. So you write those times down, and then the time you cross the threshold, if you do your after landing checklist, and then the time you block in. You only use it for engine warm up and cool down here? Yeah, that's pretty standard. It's a lot. I never really used it all that much. I just use it as an out of place thing, right? So if it's running, I know I forgot something. Or when I was a captain back in the day, I would, if I made a PA, like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be some turbulence up ahead here in about 10 minutes or so, then it should smooth out. I'll start the clock because I want to know how many lies I've told. And I told a lot of lies, apparently. But, or if if the flight attendants are seated, I'd start the chrono. If I said, hey, why don't y'all stay seated for a little bit because it's going to be bumpy, I start the chrono because I want to remind myself, hey, I got to call them back to let them know to stand up. Now, is it the end of the world if I forget? No, because what are they going to do? They're either going to stand up anyway or they're going to call and ask if they can stand up. So, just some chrono. That's an in-depth conversation on the chrono there. From an outsider's POV, flying the bus seems easier than truly understanding behind the hood. Sam, you're absolutely right. You said that very well. And this is a culture, not a culture shock, but a cold hard fact. Sam said, flying the Airbus seems easier than truly understanding behind the hood. When you realize the A320 was literally not an opinion, not a technique, that doesn't really make sense, but it's fact that the Airbus was designed. There's multiple reasons why it's designed, but a major part of its design was that so low-time pilots could fly an airliner effectively and efficiently, right? Now, I'm going to say a naughty word here in a minute because if you have kids listening, you may not want to watch it, but this is literally my check airman. So when I got my type ride, he said this to me. So we're in the room, we're doing our briefing. I'm showing up. This is the type ride day. This was on... When did I take my type? It was on, I think, last Tuesday. We're talking about, and he asked me, where was I before? What was I doing? Blah, blah, blah. And so he said, anybody ever tell you what the difference between an Airbus and a 737 is? And I was like, no. What is it? And he said, I want to make sure I say it right. He said, when you're having a bad day, if you make a mistake in the Airbus, you'll probably be okay. If you're having a bad day in the 7.3 and you make a mistake, it might fucking kill you. And what he's talking about when he said bad day, not just your A to B flying. When you're having you've got an engine on fire, you've got a failure, you're dealing with some type of abnormality, you're in a high stress, maybe a high terrain. You're in a scenario where there's a lot more threats than flying DFW to Albuquerque over the middle of nowhere with no weather, like not a cloud in the sky, right? That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about when it really gets down and dirty, you've got more protection in the bus. 7.3, it will help you. There's some guidance, right? It's got a shaker. It's got the Max has it's not a stick pusher. What is it called? Oh my gosh, it's the AOA. Oh my gosh, I should know. It's recovery, but it basically like bumps your yoke forward. It's not a pusher. So there are some other things. You do have some assistances, but Boeing designed a 737 for pilots to fly it. And that's just, the sad truth, when we go into the Max discussion about this, I don't even like talking about it, but when we dissect the Max crashes, and this is what we did in training, right? Because a lot of things in aviation are learned in blood, right? Loss of life, tragic accidents. We got to learn from those lessons. MCAS override, that's what it was. Yeah, MCAS override.
American 357, contact Alpha
When
Center 126.85. Take care.
when you look at what happened, Boeing always had a procedure for runaway stabilizer. Had the crews done the runaway stabilizer procedure correctly, outcome probably would have been different. Now, there's zero excuse for Boeing because there's tons of things wrong with how it was packaged anyway. So I'm not making, you guys know I'm not a Boeing apologist by any means. But also goes back to training, proficiency. Did you know, and this was news to me, that I won't say it, there was an airline in the United States that had multiple MCAS failures. Oh, not identical because some were at different altitudes and stuff, but there is an airline in the United States that had multiple MCAS failures prior to the 2 MAXs crashing, and there was no accident. Why? That's for the investigators to determine, right? Whether it's training, proficiency, experience. It happened multiple times in the United States before it happened overseas, and 2 airplanes went into the ground. So there's a lot to be said. That goes back to what he was saying earlier when it says, when you're having a bad day in the Airbus versus 73, if you're having a bad day in a 73 and you get a stab trim override and you don't do it right, it may not end well for you. But it's you got to have that, healthy respect for the airplane. You got to have a healthy respect for the airplane. A leading 737 operator, leading has millions of them, indeed, Sam. Indeed. So we cannot blame MCAS 100%. Jeremy Harvey, no, we cannot blame MCAS 100%. And, there's so many other things with it, too. Like, since when do you ever do anything in aviation with a single source of information, right? A single AOA source. Now, I sound like a Boeing apologist, and it's making me sick to my stomach. I'm not. There was an option on the MAX at the time to buy the 737 MAX with dual AOA information or AOA data. Those operators did not purchase that. Now, should that have ever even been an option? No. Because especially with a system like that, absolutely should not have been an issue. And the fact that there had been other issues of it failing, I mean, that's a problem. Now, here's the other thing. What people don't hit on, and this again, so when I told you that the check pilot I had for my MAX return to service training, Boeing guy and all that stuff was the smartest guy in the building, he was. And he also is personal close friends, which I didn't know this, with the lead Boeing tech engineer during MAX development, who actually lives in Texas, flies for another operator here in the United States right now. Good friends with him. So he knows him firsthand. Another part of the whole MCAS debacle is the developer of the AOA vanes, right? So there was a company developing those AOA indicators that were Coulter 4 for runway 8. We got to get ready to descend. They were producing faulty AOA indicators as well. So that's also a problem. You don't really hear about that. That's just, it's sad no matter which way you slice and dice it. And again, I'm not siding with Boeing on this by any means. But you always got to have that healthy respect for the airplane. Makes me want to fly an Airbus. I love the bus, Tyson. And, even after being completely immersed in 737 stuff for the last 3 months, I still love the Airbus, man. I believe in it. I believe the Airbus is a phenomenal airframe. What Airbus designed is incredible. The way it's been able to adapt, the way it has adapted with the Neo, with the XLR, the LR, it's a great airframe. It really is. So I am an Airbus believer. I do believe in the Airbus. I do love the Airbus still. But the 7.3 is, just want to go out and have fun with her, To be honest, Air France 443. You mean 447 that fell into the ocean? They needed much more training. There's a whole lot on that, Dan. Yeah, Air France 447. The problem with that, people ask. That's a very popular one. People ask me about, especially being on the bus. You know, like what happened to Air France back in the day? Anyway, they would ask. Listen, that Air France 447, that Airbus did exactly what it was told to do. That Airbus did exactly what it was told to do from, was it 30,000 feet all the way to the sea. And here's the crazy part. If you look at the trend data from the black boxes, when the crew realized that they were holding full aft and they literally were standing the airplane on its tail and they started to push it over, I think below 10,000 feet, the airplane was actually responding and would have actually recovered, which you wouldn't think would be possible being so deep stalled. Be like, well, if you fall out of the back end, it's likely that you'll never be able to recover, even with the proper recovery technique, because just aerodynamics. But it actually was trending the other direction. They just realized way too late. My father had his IOE in the 737-200, the roller coaster recovery maneuver. According to him, the maneuver was dangerous and easily to lose control while trying to recover from a nosedive. Oh, man. So maybe an early version of what we do now, the, what do we call that? The upset recovery, right? Probably an early version of that in the sim, learning how to recover the airplane from nosedives. Yeah, man. So, just to hit on what Gus said, Tutko, thanks for the $2 super chat. Popping in just to say, congrats on the type. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you, Tutko. So my previous operator, when we started doing upset recovery training and all this stuff, we started breaking simulators because the G-force, the simulated, I guess, G-force was so aggressive, shaking, you know, you're pulling G's trying to recover the airplane without bending the airframe. It was a very aggressive profile in the simulator that simulators were getting broken. So they tuned down the aggressiveness at which the simulator handled it. I did a couple of these sims with my current operator, and I'll tell you what, they did not hold back on the aggressiveness of how that simulator was reacting. There was one upset recovery maneuver that we do where when we first started doing enhanced envelope training, EET, years ago, it started out like this. You would be flying like this, and then the simulator would upset you. You'd be flying along, and it would be all one frame, right? So you're flying, and you see the airplane pitch up, roll over, and you're recovering, quick. And it was very aggressive. After the sims were breaking, what they started doing was they would just load you in. So you'd pause the sim, you'd come off motion, and then you'd load in, and you'd be a freeze frame, nose low, inverted. And then they'd say, recover. A little bit less aggressive on the simulator. What we did in the 7.3, it was all fluid. And it was either you'd fly behind a 747, and you'd simulate wake turbulence, you'd fly up and over, go inverted. My last one, it was the night of the ice storm that started. I had like a midnight sim, and we were obviously well prepared, so we had some spare time, and it's like, what else are we going to do? So we did some upset recovery training. I was inverted, and nose down like 60 degrees over DFW, and we try to keep going lower and lower, to recover. Pretty wild. Again, an absolute fantastic training experience I had going through this. The trim forward runaway. If you're fast, you're dead. If you're too slow, you can recover, but above 210, they were mostly likely dead. Yeah, guys, you're talking about trim runaway. Okay. Trim runaway is if you don't understand aerodynamics, but there's a couple of ways that you can alleviate load on that stab by lessening the G or adjusting your speed. But man, when you get a trim runaway, you are sweating up here. And so we ran multiple trim runaway scenarios. Can I pop this handle out? I don't think I can, right? So this is the little manual trim wheel. So let's say you get a trim runaway, you're flying along, you try to use the electric trim to stop it. If the electric trim doesn't stop it, you come down here, flip the stab trim switches off. If I do it now, it'll disengage the autopilot. Once you have it under control, whatever speed you're trimmed at, you can manually try to adjust that with these little handles. But if you look at these handles, look, they're probably just a few inches long. They're just as nubby as they look, and it's hard to get that leverage on there. So there's a couple of methods of using the manual trim. The first method is obviously one hand on the yoke, one hand on that little nub trying to move it, or the bicycle method, which is transfer controls or have the pilot monitoring. You wouldn't want transfer controls. Have the pilot monitoring, use the bicycle method, right? So have one hand here around the console trying to, no, it's not a JPEG, Turk. It's not a JPEG. It's the actual handle. But I don't know. I can't get it to pop out. That method is pretty good because you have both arms. It's a little bit easier to move the trim. Or another good method is you each use one hand. So the pilot flying, you have one hand on the yoke, one hand here. The pilot monitoring also puts one hand on there, and you try to trim together, right? Because when you have two people on it, much easier to maneuver. But it can definitely be a bear, especially if it runs away for too long. One of the cool things, I say cool, one of the things we did that I thought was a good experience was we each got to fly a lap in the pattern at almost full nose down trim and almost full nose up trim. So I did, my captain did, he did nose down trim. So he was basically locked in with his hands, keeping the yoke up, and I was doing a lot of trimming for him. My turn, I had full nose up trim. So I literally locked my elbows, pushed the yoke forward, and I was just trying to, push back in my seat a little bit to change the pitch of the airplane. And as you do that, you come in. Now, obviously, as you slow down, those forces lessen, right? And it becomes much more manageable. But I definitely was a little bit chouette after that sim session, doing a bunch of trim runaway stuff. Can the sim itself actually turn upside down? No, Jeremy, no, it cannot. All right, we need to do, let's see what the winds are. Center, what are the winds at Albuquerque for American 357? I want to see if we can do, you guys want to do some fancy approach over there, right? You want to land 2-6. The winds are blowing. Actually, we can check. Winds 210 at 6. Let's land 2-6 or 2-1. Which one do you want to land? 2-6 RNAV? Ooh. We got to give this another shot because the last RMP I did in the PMDG, she was all over the place. Let's give it another try. RMP Zulu 2-6. Take it off of Taco. Let's do that. I'm going to do my own thing. Departure arrival. RNAV, what do we say? Yankee or Zulu? Zulu 2-6. Taco. And I'll just tune a different frequency for now until we're on tower, so I don't need to listen to them for the approach. Let's play on the RNP Zulu. Using reserve fuel. Let's take a look at it. Make sure your terrain warnings are off. Really? It shouldn't do that. You should be able to have it in the database. We're going to be all kinds of messed up, though, because... Actually, no, we're not. I'll tell you what. Let's go... Direct... Coulter? Yeah, let's go direct Coulter now. Execute. And we're going to set up for this approach. Delta Tango 529, what's up? Thank you for the 34-month support. You'd be a great instructor on the bus someday. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Delta. Thank you, man. I'd love to do it. I really would. I think it'd be a lot of fun, man. Appreciate the support. 34 months, Delta Tango. Hope all is well, man. Most impressive demo we practiced at the end of type was landing with full nose up and nose down trim. Ah, cool, Recess. We did the same thing in the 7.5. The 757 doesn't have trim cutout switches. It doesn't need them. Why doesn't it need them? Do you just manually override it? Wow. 7.5, man. I wish they were still flying. More popular. I mean, they are still flying, but like heyday 7.5s, you know. All right, let's load this box up here. I'm gonna do a couple of different things. So RNAV Zulu 26, and what star are we on? We're on the Coulter 4. Taco is bottom at 10,000, so let's set 10,000 feet. We're gonna set 10,000 there. And we're going to step through that here in a minute. I'm going to make some of those hard altitudes because I want to see if I can't finagle this a little bit. RNAV, RNP, Zulu 26. Make you full screen. Final approach course will be 259. Let's dial these in at top. 259. 259. And knit ref, we're going to do flaps 30. 145. All right, so we're gonna go departures. Right, we've done that. Legs. Let's go pick up the final approach fix, which should be, there's our descent as the sim sounds come up. Final approach point, rather, will be Changa. So let's take Changa. We'll throw that in the fix page. We'll put a 2-mile ring around Changa. And knit ref, we'll do auto brakes 3. That's done. Alright. And now we got to do our check plus 2. So let's go to progress page, nav status, page 2, VOR update off. And we'll put in the Albuquerque VOR 13.2. .2 down there. And then what we also need to do is go to progress page 4, and we're going to see if it can handle this RMP. 0.17. Alright, so RMP 0.17. I should have been doing this in the programming can, my bad. And we're going to increase our RMP scale to 125. Alright, so RMP 125, RMP required 0.17. That is set. That's all done. Init ref is done. We'll put this chart back here. We've started our descent. We'll zoom it out. Let me take a look at the airport ops pages. Make sure I'm not missing anything for Albuquerque. Albuquerque Sunport. Let me see if it says anything about turning terrain off. We would have to put in our engine out SID, right? But we're not going to do that because we don't have that in Microsoft Flight Sim. Due to high terrain, at least one pilot should actively monitor terrain using the eJipWiz terrain feature. Get this. I also learned we have some 737s that are so old, they don't have eJipWiz. They just have JipWiz. I thought that was pretty wild. I thought all airplanes were eJipWiz equipped in the United States. I'm sorely mistaken. Well, not all airplanes. I just thought all airliners. I don't know. I guess I don't know why I thought that. There's some pretty old airliners flying around still, but it just kind of hit me as a surprise. I'm like, what? We don't have eJipWiz? We just have JipWiz? All right, special considerations. We looked at that engine out. We'd review that. Noise. 1230 is prohibited for takeoff and landing. Arrival reports. RNP arrival. Zulu. Runway 26. We can do it. It's authorized for us. High terrain penetrates at a 3-degree glide path. On a visual approach 26, do not deviate north of the runway center line to avoid Fort Hills housing area. This airport has a higher than normal rate of unstabilized approaches. Several approach fixes are at or near 1,000 feet AFL and only 3 miles from touchdown. Carefully monitor vertical profile. Plan on configuring no later than 6,400 MSL to comply with stabilized approach criteria. Okay. That's good to know. RNAV, visual 2.6, we're not doing that one. Departure, de-icing, we don't care about. Missed approaches, we don't care about. Okay, so high, hot, and unstable. Let's use caution. We'll configure a little bit early. Taco is a mandatory 10,210 knots. So we're looking okay on the R&P profile there, or the vertical profile. There's our glide path, 3 degrees. Taco's in there, at or below 210. Ah, we're fine. I like it. I like it. All right, down we go. What's the plan for Expo? What's up, Josh? Appreciate you, man. You know, I'm going to try to go to Expo this year, but again, I don't know if my schedule, my whole life is going to look different, man. So I don't know. If I can get the days off, I'll be there. I won't know until probably, when is Expo? Is it June or July? I'll know the month prior. So I'll know the month prior. I'm going to try, my man. Oh, I forgot minimums, guys. Come on now. Minimums, oh, geez, 57.45 in the barrow. Setting minimums in the real thing is just as annoying as doing it in Flight Sim. June. Okay, so I should know in May, Josh. But I don't want to make any promises to anybody this year because, again, like I said, as a 10-year captain at my last operator, I could guarantee what days I wanted off. But I've just reset my whole life, so we got to roll with the punches, man. I would love to go, though. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm clicking the wrong button. All right, 57.45. 57.45 is set. We're through 18,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, for the flight, we've got our initial descent down into Albuquerque, New Mexico. Should be on the ground here in just about 5 minutes. We're anticipating a smooth ride all the way in. We do appreciate you flying American Airlines this afternoon. Flight attendants, please prepare for landing. All right, the seatbelt sign is on. We need to start slowing down. Why are we not slowing down? We're coming up on Coulter. We're going to start slowing up now, my friend. 250. Execute. How to make that at or below. Let's start bringing it back right now. Out of 18,000 feet, we'll also get turn-offs, fixed lights, wing, logo. Beautiful. We'll help it out with a speed brake here. At night, this approach is really nice, too. Should we do a sunset approach? Should we fast-forward it to sunset? Man, it looks like Lufthansa won the poll. 100 years livery. I could fast-forward this to sunset. Let's do that, man. Screw flying around Flight Sim in the middle of the day. It's so mid. Since we're only doing one leg today, let's pretend we just flew a super long haul. And now we're getting into sunset. Yes, yes. All right. Still slowing up. Looking good. All right. We'll get our takeoff and landing cam on. I think I bumped my camera there. How often do you select the old switches? How do you select the old switches in the 7.3? Everything Recon 5 is going to be in the MCDU. So you go into your menu, PMDG setup, and you can do options, aircraft, equipment, and you could go all kinds of stuff, man. You can do old gauges, new gauges, all the customizables will be in the FMC. These start levers are so much cooler than the new ones, though. So even the new NGs, though, it's not just max. You know the 787 start switch style, the little ball thing that you flip up and down? That is on NGs as well. It's on all the new NGs. But it's soulless. I love the levers. This is as close as I'll ever be to flying a 727, and I love it. All right, sounds are coming all the way up. I don't think anybody's in here, but we should make a radio call because we are technically on Ivea. Albuquerque traffic, American 357. Out of 11,000 feet, setting up for the RNAV 26 Albuquerque. FS Lab Neo Stream when? Ooh, Turk. I'd have to install it. Yeah, Recon 5. It's in there, I promise you. You got to look closer. You got to go slow. I miss it all the time too, man. Like, you can change oil to quarts percent. I always miss it. Just got to read each line carefully. Angel, thanks for the $3 super chat. If you can't make Expo, send Miss V1 and friends. Hell no. Hell no. I can't have her meeting Turk Herein. I just found out he's the Turkish version of Travis Barker. Hit the like button if you know who Travis Barker is. We're going to have 10,000 feet field elevation, so we'll get these lights on. And we'd probably also already hit them with a sterile chime as well at about 15,000 feet. All right, let's run some checklists. Descent checklist altimeters. 3011 set. Approach prep complete. Pressurization check. Terrain display selected. Lights are set. Descent checklist complete. We're going through 10,000 feet. Approach briefing is complete. Seatbelt switch is on. PA is complete. Recall. I have 6. Check. Auto brakes 3. HUD not installed. Radios and displays. We have LNAV, VNAV, VNAV path. 5745 set. Cross check to the line.
2,500.
All right, you're cleared approach. So now what I should have done is this. All right, we got it. 5,500 feet. We'll set mins. We'll set 5,800. And we need to slow down. Oh, man, we already cooked it. Gear down. Look at how fast this came up. My goodness. We got to slow now. Flaps 5. Dang, this came up quick. Drag required, no kidding. Flaps 15. Man, I wasn't paying attention. I don't even have my flight recorder up. Well, I'm glad I did this sim flight because, oh no. Okay, good. I thought I was crashing my sim. I was just launching flight recorder. Looks like an OE flight. Ay, ay, ay. Recording's on. All right, flaps 15, gear down. Speed brake will arm you. Let's go flaps 25. An hour early. That's all right. That's all right. We're way early now. Let's go flaps 30. Fly the approach fully configured. Let's waste some gas. Flaps 30. 4 lane below the line, please. Speed brakes. Arm green light. Gear down in green. Flaps 30. Green light. 4 lane checks complete. Recording's on. We're clear to land. I want to pay attention. I want to see how this does. She's right on it now. When we did the RNAV into DC, she was a little bit swirly. We'll set final approach course here, 259 on the heading window. Wow. Whoever said sunset, good call. No one wants to fly to Albuquerque in the middle of the day. I'd rather gouge my eyes out. The last time I flew to Albuquerque in the middle of the day, I went for a Pacific Wings interview, Cessna 208 Caravan. Needless to say, I did not pass the interview. The only interview that I've taken my whole aviation career and was denied. Pacific Wings. They used to fly caravans out of like Hawaii and Albuquerque, which is completely random. I was a low-time flight instructor trying to do anything but flight instruct. Is there a max flaps that didn't have speed brakes out? No. Generally, Ferric, we try to stow them, you know, before calling for flaps 15. But theoretically, yeah, so you could pop them here. It's not like an Airbus where it's inhibited, right? Boeing is designed to leave the pilot in charge. If you want to blow full boards at flaps 30, knock yourself out. The second half of this RNAV will be interesting. What, am I missing something? Alright, let's see. We'll watch it from inside here. I should have used the HUD, huh?
Caution, terrain.
So that's why you were saying put the terrain on. Terrain check. Alright, landing checklist is complete. We're stable. Let's see how she. I'm gonna let it RNP this turn here. See how it does.
Terrain.
Got a terrain ahead. That's Roger. Check. I guess that's why you would turn that off. I would think that would be in the database. Might be a database error. Alright. She's holding it.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Terrain in sight. Check. Should be monitoring prog page 2. Looking good. I'm actually doing a pretty
1,000.
decent job. A little bit off here. Getting a little bit wide on that turn. Easy way to tell, go to range 10 on your ND. If your track isn't inside the triangle, then you're outside the RP. But it only works at range 10. Hey, not bad actually. Look at that. All right, as we get closer to minimums, we're gonna have to disengage it, right? Wow. All right, so she's doing all right. Not too bad. Here comes minimums. Runway's in sight. Set missed approach altitude. 11,000 set autopilot off.
Plus 100. 500. Minimums.
Continue. Self the bird. Auto throttles away. A little bit high here. I'm going to come down and get it. Go visual with the pappies. Shoot for 2 red. Expect 3.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Deployed. Manual brakes. Auto brake off. 80. 60. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Albuquerque. A very strange place. I'm sorry if you're an Albuquerque native, but come on, if you're an Albuquerque native, you know Albuquerque's weird, right? Don't they have those signs everywhere, keep Albuquerque weird? Alright, clear of the runway. Let's do proper flow. Flaps up. After takeoff checklist. So flaps are coming up, or after takeoff, after land. We'll reset our trim to 5. You want to do it while the flaps are still out because it runs at a higher speed. Auto brakes off. Flight directors off. Overhead. Everything is good. We'll get the APU running. Landing lights come off. Wing. Boom. Boom. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Josh, you have lived there? Oh, that explains a lot. Fried bacon grease. So, it's crazy. I don't know if Vodka's still here. Man. I need to put more force on this Bruner. I'm going to put more force on the Bruner. Trying to get the right amount of control pressure. Like, this is still too light. Even though my desk is already starting to wiggle. That was a fun flight, though. Check the new one. Vodka, I will. I will. It's walkable, short stay hotel, instant bid for you. Ooh, nice. Hey, Turks, where did we stay in Oklahoma City? My first overnight. How great is that? We got a Cathay up here. What is that? Is that a Cathay Pacific? What are you doing up there? So our next stream, we're going to do a DFW turn. I really want to use bare metal, but I'm sure everyone's probably getting tired of seeing American bare metal. Is there another bare metal MD-80 or something we can fly at a DFW? Do an Austin turn the MD-80 next stream. Not today, but... You have the Union app yet? Yes, I do, Turks. Yes, I do. Oh, they're on it? Nice. All right. I'll have to look. I'm still learning how to bid, dude. I was trying to do that before this stream went live. All I want to bid for is the 7th off and long call. And I'm ready for the abuse. But I gotta friggin' learn how to bid, man. New checklist item, desk secured and locked. Yeah, there you go. That's what we're gonna. I'm gonna need that, Jason Wilson. I'm gonna need it. You know what, Vodka? We could do 727. You're right. How far home would your layover be in Oak City? Gus, that's a great question, dude. It's only a couple hour drive. How long is my layover? Hold on, I gotta look. I gotta get around this cafe. I'll look. I don't know. I can't. PEDs are off during taxiing, so I can't bring my phone up right now. Is this an actual 340? Surely that's beyond ATC, right? No one's taking a 340 off out of Albuquerque. Alright, we're going to slide in here. This is Dominican Designs. Albuquerque. We'll take Alpha, or we'll take Bravo 1. Dude, the 100 is amazing. I don't believe you, Vodka. It's $60, man. I'm not going to drop $60 on another 727. You know how much we fly the 200? Alright. Albuquerque, Hong Kong is such a hot route. I think you're kidding. Alright, APU's on the buses. Oh, $54. I don't know. Guys, I'm obsessed with the 7.3. It's like the new toy. It's a new toy, man. Listen to those engines just burning Jet A. Oh, is this the line? No, let's go forward. Some 1920s texturing on the lines there, but. Ah, the brakes are sticking. Couple premature ERPs there. Where's AJ when you need him? Alright. ERP! Oop, went into the building. Alright, brakes set. Let's do proper flows now. You guys haven't seen any shutdown flows before. Alright, so we set the brake. We come in here. Captain does something over here. He's going to do like... I think he... No, he doesn't do that. Does he do that? I think he does that. And this, and then he goes shut down engines, and then we're gonna do this. We'll do a shutdown flow. Boom, boom. Stand by. We'll come up here, bring up our quantities, pressures. Anti-collision light is off. We'll give them some air in the back. Window heats, probe heats, electric pumps, emergency exit lights off. Verify start switches, auto. Looks good to me. Beautiful. Spool them down. Alright. Premature ERPs, your doctor. Yeah, AJ's got pills for that. Alright, let's disconnect from Beyond ATC. That is a real pilot out there. That's an Iveo 340 taking off. Hong Kong, Albuquerque. Gus, I don't know, man. Maybe I might have been messing up on his flow. Maybe it's after he says shut down engines, and then I don't know. All I know is I don't turn the fuel pumps off. So, all right, let's take a look at that replay. Oh, I had this going the whole time. I think I'm canning the vertical streams all together. I've been looking at analytics and stuff on it, and the load's on my PC to do vertical stream. It was a little trial run. We'll watch this 340 take off, then I'll disconnect. So I don't have a landing rate. I might have to get an old landing rate plug-in. I was kind of tired of running 2 streams. It's kind of annoying. Is this guy going to take off? Is he going to take? Is he able to take off? Can a 340 take off out of here? I'm really curious to see if this guy gets airborne now that I think about it. I mean, we're at 5,500 feet. This got 4 hair dryers and a whole lot of mountain over there. And he's not even full length. This ought to be interesting. He's got performance anxiety. Oh yeah, empty for sure. Cathay, you gonna send it? Oh, I shut my radio off, I think. No, I'm on bus. I guess not. He's going to Detroit. I didn't realize we had A340 service from Albuquerque to Detroit. That's gonna be a sharp left turn on departure, my buddy. Go, dude, send it. He's probably reviewing the TPS. He's like, wait a second. Second segment climb says we're impacting the terrain. I really want to see this guy take off, but I want to watch the replay. He's reviewing his life choices. Mike85 says so many people are bent out of shape about pmdg $30 upgrade, but I know they're different with it. Oh, Mike85, listen. Let's see if this guy blasts off while I finish this thought. I agree with you, man. Look, it's kind of like the Super Bowl halftime show. You got options. If you don't like one, don't watch that one. If you don't want the updated PMDG in your sim, don't get it. But let me say this. After being through extensive flight training and in flight training devices and simulators and really finessing inside of the systems as part of a type rating course would have you do, the PMDG 737 has done nothing but impress me the more I look at stuff. Now, am I saying it's perfect? No, it's not perfect. But as far as just something to, I mean, I feel like it really helped me be more prepared just because I'm able to look at systems and finagle systems. I mean, the System A, System B hydraulics we were doing on stream before I went to sim training and then came out of it. I did the same exact thing in the real sim. It's great, man. So yeah, it's I think it's well worth the upgrade, man. All right, this dude's got 10 more seconds. Hey, Cathay, or A340 in Albuquerque, are you going to be departing? I'm on 22.8. Oh, am I on the wrong freak? Isn't there a... Is there somebody landing? Yeah, there's no... That's CTAF. I'm on the wrong freak, dude. Shoot. Alright. Albuquerque Tower 20.3. This is tune Unicom. Nearby ATC is Unicom. Yeah. Alright. I guess he's not going to do it. Alright, screw it. Let's watch our replay. Let's turn our jet back on. Let's go to menu, PMDG, panel, Put me on, let's just do runway state. We'll execute that. We'll give it a second to load up. See if he starts rolling. Oh, shoot! Jet! Go, buddy, go. Go, buddy, go. He's doing like 20 knots. I kind of want to watch from this angle right here. Go get it. I hope he's light. Those runway lights are getting brighter. Oh, brother. He's up. I'm gonna think that that was takeoff performance. We still get a gear down, bro. There he goes in the left turn. All right. Wow. Not many days to see an A340 go to Detroit. The little hairdryer that could. I kind of missed the 340. I'm not. We need. Oh, wait a second. There's Ospreys over here? Where's our Osprey guy? Look at this. I guess I should set the camera up now since we're about to come over here and land on it. Look at these Ospreys. Look, there he goes. Yeah, he made it out. Man, look at those mountains in the distance. That's ugly. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Have you started to miss the trade table yet? Not yet. Not yet. Ask me on my first crew meal. Ask me on my first crew meal how it is. All right, let's set the camera back over here for runway 8. That should be fine. Or 26 rather. Let's go back to our jet. Our jet is ready. Let's get our lights on. Why can't I click that little bar from the overhead view? All right, enough messing around. I'm going fishing. That's all coming on. What time is it? 1:30? Perfect. All right. Replay's up. Disconnect from the network. Flaps 2530 coming in. Let's go full screen cam. Remember, if you like this stream, please do hit the like button. It really helps out the channel since I'm not producing all that much content as of late. So if you like stories from the schoolhouse with V1 Sim, hit that like button for me. Keep the algorithms going. Let's run it forward to getting closer to landing, and then I'll leave a long replay. Can it be a little darker? Flashbang. There you go. That's a little bit darker. That's probably about the same, isn't it?
Up. Terrain.
Oh, that looks awesome out this side. Desert in blue hour is so nice. Always say that. Kirtland Air Force Base is the U.S. Osprey Schoolhouse. Really, Recon 5? I had no idea. Well, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Man, look at that flap. I mean, that looks really good texturing on that. That's a nice looking flap right there. I think was it Al Ayubi did this? Or no, J Aviation. Is it J Aviation livery? I think it's Delta fan. I'm using Flight Recorder. It's called Flight Recorder. It's a free app. Flightsim.to. You haven't been getting notified of streams lately, Josh? YouTube doing YouTube things, man. Ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows. YouTube algorithms. I would guess those Ospreys come from the east, from my neck of the woods, and Amarillo, since they're built Bell facility. Yeah, I did know there's a Bell facility at Amarillo. I've actually been up there looking around it when I was flying freight. I diverted into Amarillo a couple times. Chatted with a couple guys that came into the FBO. Any of you use Flight Recorder for Sky Dolly? I like Flight Recorder. I don't know anything about Sky Dolly, Ferric, so I just like Flight Recorder because it's simple, it's easy, and the best part about it is if the sim crashes, I still have my replay. So let's say you do a recording and your sim crashes on taxiing, it doesn't matter. I just load up, reload the sim, launch the replay as long as you save it, and it'll reload everything that you had. So, but I'm not saying that's better than SkyDolly. I'm just saying I haven't had a reason to change. That sounded buttery. Let's take a look at it. Hold it, hold it. Oh, yes, sir. It's pretty good. Just a hair off center line. I'm impressed, man. I love it. I love the 7.3, guys. I'm going to need to pop into a flight deck to SimStream and just be like, anything negative I ever said about the 737, I was wrong. Oh, hold on. I got to do Faviano replay mode. Let's put it down right here where it touchdowns. Let's go outside. Let's mute it for a second. Let's go here. Nope. Here. Here. Let's do a reset view. Let's go here, here, here. Let's do here. Let me center you just a hair more. Perfect. 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 Send it back. Sounds on. Do you ever change the degree limit for the autopilot? I do, single engine. Single engine. Flying around vectors in the terminal United States, you want to keep it at 30 though, because that's what everyone else is doing. And you're just going to be a pain in ATC's rear end if you're making half standard degree bank turns when everyone else is making full standard degree bank turns. Now, in, like I said, single engine, yeah, I messed with it a little bit. Just to keep it a little bit more stable. That's the only time I messed with it. XP72 official. Whoa, XP72 official is official. It should be XP72 MSFS24 official. What's up, man? Hope all is well. Dude, thanks for the shout out the other night from my little girl, man. She couldn't believe it. She just knocked her socks off, man. She's like, what? How do you know? And it's funny that you said it was time for bed, because I actually did say, okay, after this it's time for bed. So that was pretty wild. Read my mind. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to enjoy some time outside. I am off tomorrow. I may or may not stream tomorrow. If I do stream, make sure your notifications are on. Make sure you hit the like button. YouTube is doing YouTube things as of late. We might fly the MD-80 tomorrow. We might fly another Dallas hop. Might do Austin, Dallas, and back. So it might be kind of fun to mess with that MD-80. I do want to show you guys the updated Mad Dog as well. So with that said, I'm signing off. So you guys have been awesome. Enjoy the replays. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for your continued support as I go into the darkness of training and disappearing and coming back and disappearing. You guys have done nothing but support me in this channel, and I am forever thankful. So until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See you.